Hello, all. We'll do that. That'll work. All right. Hello, Wilson. Hello, Marquis. Hello, Kay. Now, I need to look up something real quick back. Hello, Snatchy Cactus. How do I... It's not actually answering me. Hey, Dawn Strider. Hey, Steam Tears. Or is that Stream Tears? No, it's a Steam Tears. Hey, Krolikin. Aha! There it is. Okay, the gold mine battlefield. Walking on the platform. Okay, that's where it is. Sorry, Topaz. Didn't mean to scare you. Well, maybe I did. Just a little. So, where did we leave off? Ah, that's right. The idiot, I mean human, I mean Lord Marshal, had decided that given the desperate situation with the overall Scourge being swarmed everywhere and basically stomping the crap out of them at every turn, the best possible thing to do would be to reroute his forces back in order to remove the High Elves or Blood Elves or whatever from the situation, and as such, try to, you know, kill all the elves. That's a great idea, right? So now we're in the dungeon awaiting execution. For those of you not aware, this is actually the dungeon of Dalaran, which for some reason will be a lot larger here than it is in WoW, but I guess that's true for everything, isn't it?
How could I have let this happen to my brethren? Locked in these cells. Our thirst for magic will devour us.
It'll all be over soon, traitor. Lord Gerritho's plans to execute the lot of you at dawn.
Sunrise can't get here fast enough. These elves give me the creeps.
Don't worry. This prison was built by the Kirin Tor to keep their pets from getting loose. The elves' magic is useless inside those enchanted cells.
Greetings, Kale. I assume we're not too late?
On the contrary, Vash, your timing is impeccable. Once again, I am in your debt. But even if we free my brethren, there is nowhere to run. Garithos' forces outnumber us 10 to 1.
You stand at a dangerous crossroads. You can either stay here and be slaughtered by human hands, or choose a darker path to freedom.
What is this darker path?
In the city above us stands a portal, a gateway that leads to other worlds.
Yes, I know it. The Lich, Kel'Thuzad, opened it to bring Archimonde here.
Yes. My master Illidan awaits us on the other side of that portal. Lead your people to him, and he will forge you a new destiny. He will sate your people's burning hunger.
Side with a rogue demon, or lead my people to their certain deaths. There is no choice here, Vash. We'll have to free my lieutenants first. They'll be able to rally the others while we assault the exit.
As you will.
So a couple things to talk about really quick. First of all, those are not skulls. Second of all, go over here. Hey Guido, word up, yo. Shoot, I lost it. It was something about Kael'thas I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, assumptions, right? So here's an interesting assumption for you. This is a question that has a lot of people have actually been debating for a significant period of time in Warcraft lore, and we still don't actually know the answer, and probably never will. Put simply, the question is the magical addiction fatal? Is the condition of the Blood Elf something that would be considered fatal? In other words, to put it a little bit more bluntly. Now, whether you particularly believe one or the other or not is kind of irrelevant, because, like I said, we don't know, and we never will at this point. Which is kind of a pity, but whatever. The reason I mention that, though, is it's one of those interesting situations where nobody would doubt that it is basically a no-win scenario, no matter how you look at it. And if you ask why, it's very simple. Try to picture for a moment that the Blood Elves... that is not fatal, okay? Okay, not a big deal. Not fatal, alright, we're good, we're good. But here's the problem. There's two possible paths if it's not fatal. One, trying to recover from it and overcome their addiction. Or two, how do I put this? Basically suffer the addiction effects forever. Now, what I mean by that is they are addicted to magic, okay? And this is Warcraft. There's really no way to get away from magic in the Warcraft setting, so it would be like being addicted to electricity in real life, you know? There's nothing you can really do about that. There's nothing you can really do to avoid the source of your addiction. So not only would you be in danger of constant danger of relapse, you'd be in constant danger of constantly being reminded of the addiction, and indeed, you would never actually avoid the source of your addiction, no matter what. That's actually the biggest problem with the magical addiction. Is the fact that even if a Blood Elf doesn't practice magic, even if they don't drain magic from demons or mana spirits or anything or whatever, the flat reality of the situation is that the Blood Elves are literally constantly being fed magic, but not enough. It'd be like if you're addicted to caffeine, but you only get one little sip of Barks root beer every day. And it would keep you addicted, but you'd still be going through the withdrawal symptoms because you're not really getting enough, you know? It's a rather screwed up situation. And I actually kind of feel bad. Well, kind of. I feel really bad for the Blood Elves. Yeah, Wilson, that's actually a pretty good comparison. For those of you who've seen Babylon 5, it's very much like Dust. Well, not very much. It's analogous, but you get the point. Excuse me. A Tome of Knowledge, which Kael'thas will get. There we go. Well... Oh, whatever. Through the gates. By the way, hello, Ariati. Hello, Zed. Woo, hello, cutscene.
I sense powerful spirits stirring nearby. Arthas murdered a number of Archmagi when the Scourge ravaged this land. Now the wizard's invisible spirits can find no rest. Perhaps we should track them down and give them peace. I sense something elusive. Outstanding.
My god, switch puzzles! Dun dun dun. Whoops, I did that wrong. Whatever. It still knew what I meant. Okay, just for you, I'm going to look up the specific name of the damn things. Because I don't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but yes, I do know what they are. They're basically a device of his own creation, invention, however you want to think of that. Ah, here we go. The Verdant Spheres. That's what they're called. They're actually used by blood mages in general, but the Verdant Sphere is something that enables them to increase their fire damage, increase their ability to enhance their spells, increase the area of its effect, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. And they can also be used for various other purposes. For example, Kael'thas himself uses one to save his own life.
My people must be avenged. What's the holdup? I sense something elusive.
Our will shall be done.
It's a cool little invention. And something that actually
What's the
exists
holdup?
in Primus as well.
Outstanding.
Oh my god, it's
People must be
Antonidas!
avenged.
Anyone remember Antonidas? No? Okay. And he's dead. No, they cannot, Kay. The thing that you have can only be fixed in 3 ways that I'm aware of. Spoiler alert. Seriously, I have actually thought of 3 different ways you could be cured. Yeah, I don't feel like fighting them. No, leave them be, leave them be. Kill the undead. Now the Hunter I do not mind at all. Crobat, as I've said many times, is actually my favorite Pokemon, like across all 6 generations. And I would consider that an honor, if you would actually want to name it after me. So go for it. Thank you for asking, though. Don't worry, Kay, I wouldn't answer you anyways. That would kind of ruin it, wouldn't it? I want you to pick that one up. There you go. Kill the egg sacs, kill the egg sacs. Don't worry, Kay. I predict about as long as you guys don't delay forever in making a decision on what to do next, there's a fairly good chance you will be fixed. Although how that fixing works, we're just going to put that in quote unquotes and leave it like that. Anyway, so moving on. No one to rescue over here. Okay, on we go. I need to do some more D&D blogs so I could get the audience caught up to present day. So I stop having to worry about spoiler alerts. Oh, by the way, I mentioned yesterday that I would have to stop streaming at a certain point today due to real-life obligations. I realized I never actually told you what those obligations were because I was so distracted by, massive amounts of pain and the horrible stuff. So, it is my niece's birthday today, her first birthday. And so we're going to be obviously celebrating. Now, I'm one of those weird people who, while I like social gatherings and whatnot, no, really, I do. For things that are really important, like a birthday, I tend to prefer something that's much more private, much more intimate. Naturally, I am not the one in charge of this decision because she's not my daughter. So what's actually going to be happening is about 20 people are going to be showing up. Yes, really, 20. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to be busy with 20 guests later. In case anyone's wondering why I'm going to be stopping streaming here. Later in the evening or afternoon or however you want to think of that. Okay. I will not enjoy it. However, when everyone leaves, I will have a much more private birthday with my niece. I've already wished her happy birthday anyways. Fun fact, it is also my mother's birthday today. Same day. Obviously different times of day. That would be a little bit too weird. But yeah. So I'll need to be calling my mother later too. And tell her how awesome she is. Because she is, in fact, pretty awesome. That thing's kind of semi-common in my family. My aunt, my eldest aunt, and myself also share the same birthday. Yeah, okay, it was actually interesting. I called her and says, well, congrats, you're a grandmother again. She's like, huh? My biggest worry, Raskor, is how relatively small our house is. I mean, yeah, it's not a small house. We've got a 2-story house of awesome and all that, but, I mean, really? Well. That, and I literally don't know virtually any of the people showing up. I know 4 of them. No, I'm sorry, I know 6, because the kids are showing up, too. Where's the other one? Oh, it's right there, duh. Oh, that sucks, Kay. Although I hope that, you know, her recovery was swift and smooth. If it wasn't, well, that's the first thing I would change as soon as I take over the world. Making recoveries swift and smooth. See, what I intend to do is make this thing called Miracle Day happen. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Damn it. Elite Guard's bad. Fire good. Damn it. Okay, good. Nobody here knows what Miracle Day means. Frickin' stupid thing. Hey, Nick the Looney. I brought coffee. Just for you, man. No, Raskor. See, unlike most people, I'm aware of the fact that Miracle Day came out a bit ago in the UK. I know it only came out in the States very recently, but it's been out for a while over there, and I, you know, tend to keep up with the BBC. And the little one was really into Torchwood because she's weird. I don't like Torchwood. I'm just being facetious. I'm sure she has plenty of reasons for liking it. I just, Anyways, moving on. So she always liked Torchwood, and so I was well aware of it and watched it kind of with her when it was coming out. And yes, I did see Sci-Fi Debris' thing about it, but the point I'm trying to make is I didn't like Miracle Day regardless. In fact, I thought it was pretty much 100% crap. And rather disturbing at that. Interesting premise. I'll give it that without question or hesitation. Very interesting premise. But, ugh. Just, ugh. Oh, whatever. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like most of Torchwood. The premise is that people stop dying. Now, the show is actually rather inconsistent with this. Basically, either you stop dying, but you keep moving around, and even though you shouldn't be able to, or you stop dying and then reach a point of effective brain death. It really needed to make up its mind on that. But anyways, point being, the point is that death stops, and so all of culture and society just kind of starts screwing up really, really badly because, you know, death stopped happening. It is an interesting premise. I do actually grant it that, like I said. I just wish, you know, it wasn't as horrifyingly ugh as it was. And they really didn't do as much with it as they should have, in my opinion. Like, there's a couple of episodes where it's like, oh, okay, interesting. And then there's the thing where they introduce the, what did they call them? The fire kennels. Which, while a horrifying idea, ultimately it makes a horrifying amount of sense when you really think about it. And yeah, Raskor, that is exactly true. It's one thing that I wish more writers would be aware of, in general. Having a good idea is simply not enough to have a good story. Hey, Onesie. is this area? Whoop, whoop. Guards! Guards! Guards who are dead! Guards who are dead! Oh, I agree, Zed. Like I said, I just wish they'd been more consistent with their own rules, is really what that comes down to. Because, for example, the woman who breaks her neck but keeps walking around like nothing happened. Good example. Or the woman who was actually completely crushed in a car compactor and still, you know, conscious and unaware of the fact that she was crushed to death in a car compactor. That was pretty disturbing, but at the same time, it's an interesting concept to think that the fact that she's still functional and awake and alive. Oh yeah, the guy that got blown up. That is by far the most severe example, which is funny because it's basically the first. You know, very first example. I think it actually might not be the first. I didn't like the show that much. But anyways, the point being, it was one of the first examples of the people who lived. It was a suicide bomber, for those of you who don't know. And he survived. And all of the horribleness that that implies. Oh, they feel tons of pain. You kidding me? One of the main characters dies because he was impaled through the chest by a metal rod, and he's pretty much suffering the whole thing. Pretty badly. Well, Kay, that depends on which part in the series you're watching. Early on, yes, you don't die. Later on, yes, you do die. Like I said, they were kind of... They kind of changed their minds about halfway through the series. But yeah, for example, the guy who got suicide bombed, one of the first things Jack wanted to do with him was rip his head off. So they severed his head. And found out what happened. His head kept functioning. Woo, that's a lot of guys. Oh god, oh god. Yeah. That's one way to put it. Dead, minus the insanity, and being in love with death. And the charm and the wit and the humor factor and the fourth wall breaking powers. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about Russell T Davies. I know a lot of Doctor Who fans have their own opinions on him, and I am no exception to that. Well, Zed, that depends on which part in the story which you're asking that question. Ah, here we go. Here's what I was looking for. I gotta turn the sound on for this.
It shall be done. Outstanding.
Yeah, but then they kill him, Raskar.
My pleasure. Outstanding.
Okay, that's by...
It shall be done.
You.
My pleasure.
Okay, so it's gonna be top, bottom, middle.
It shall be done. My pleasure. It shall be done.
Ram.
My pleasure.
You. Ram. You.
There we go.
It shall be done. I'll do my best.
Behold, the secret level power-up. Oh god. There we go. Oh god. It's raining explosive sheep.
Outstanding.
I don't like explosive sheep. I never found the runes for some of these, did I? Meh, whatever. Onwards! Do I still have the music going? Yes, I do. Okay. Hello. Yep, cutscene.
The blasted elves are free! We can't take them alone.
We don't have to. We can loose these creatures on them.
Yes, that's right. Those are flesh golems. As made by Dalaran mages. Your tax dollars at work. Yes, Kay. in Cataclysm's revised South Shore region. Yes, I'm not kidding. Hey, Halberd. Alright, what color is that? That's the one from, like, way back here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Damn it. Alright, hang on. You. Oops, lost my place here. You go here. You go here. And we'll just kind of chill for a second. Some of the kingdoms do Zed, some don't. Depends. Air golems, yeah, those exist. I don't think we did, Zed. Oh my god. See you around, Nether. Oh god. Cookung.
Is it time? Our will shall be done. I grow anxious to act. Soon, we will reclaim the surface world and take vengeance upon the Night Elves. Illidan will show us the path to power. Keep tripping over this damn tail. Damn seawater. I'll never get these coils out of my hair. It's far too bright in this surface world, and this fresh air is irritating my eyes. Our will shall be done.
Hello? An Arcanite Golem. Yes, this is actually when Arcanite first became a thing. For those of you who know, Arcanite was the super substance of WoW Vanilla for crafting. Mineral, I should say. But this is actually the first time we ever see Arcanite in the Warcraft series, so fun fact. Arshian Gaia, giving you useless trivia every day, all day. A lot less strong than that, Zed, but, you know, whatever. Arcanite is actually magically infused thorium, if you want to get down to it. No, get the shield. Marquis, you obviously don't think like a highborn does, if that's what you think. I mean, I don't mean that as an insult, quite the contrary. That's actually a huge compliment that you don't think like a, you know, one of those people. But no, yeah, they genuinely think that it's the Night Elves' fault for betraying them, because if they had just let them summon Sargeras and let everything go the way it was supposed to, none of this would have happened. Frickin' Night Elves. Always getting in the way. So yeah, killing that guy actually doesn't do anything, but it does that you get a few things. For example... Ah, never mind. I don't actually care about that. Whatever. Let's go. After we get the essence of a June, which I need to... Oh yeah. Perma-use potion. Useful stuff. And yes, Kael'thas had a romantic crush on Jaina, which she never returned. And I've had some people in the past ask, why is this elf way back here? The answer to that is actually very simple. Because you can only select 12 guys. No, anyways. The reason why Kael'thas, someone who, I remind you, is pretty dang old, not as old as some of the elves, he wasn't around at the time of the Sundering, but, you know, he's pretty old, would have a crush on Jaina. The reason is actually purely because of her power. She, as we've discussed before, Jaina is one of the most powerful mages to walk the setting, and even when she was young, her potential was very obvious and very blatant. So that's pretty much the reason why he found an appeal in her. In a nutshell. Well, this looks like a pleasant place to be. Let's just open these gates. Nothing bad could happen. Yeah, exactly, Raskor. Those coins are very amusing. Probably my personal favorite is actually Terran Gorfiends. I forget the exact wording, it's kind of long, but it's basically take this as compensation for your piddling artifact or something like that and leave me. Good morning, Zed. And Coco. Sorry, just Coco. Zed, you've been here. I'll free you. Why isn't the king freeing me? He is busy standing over there. Also, he's not the king yet. Oh, okay. It all makes sense now. Now to go kill Kassan.
You've gone as far as you're going to go, Prince Kale. Make it easy on yourself.
You served the Kirin Tor well, Kassan. But the old order has passed away. My people and I are leaving this damn prison, one way or another.
It's a shame to see a good wizard gone bad. Do what you have to do, lad.
It's kind of a shame. There's a lot of implication of backstory there, but basically, we only hear a little bit about Kassan, and it's only referenced, basically. But Kassan's position and situation and all that are actually pretty obvious, so there's nothing really to discuss there. Just about anything I could talk about him about, you just saw, you know? Speaking of which, let's go ahead and free these guys. Nope. Come on, there we go. Right about there. Yeah, I know, Zed. Lol, as they say. Vosh? Vosh. Yeah, right. I need Vosh to live. Why, Coco? Was it hard? I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of really brutal missions in Reign of Chaos hard, but the one I will never forget is the end of the human mission, because that was the first one that was a true roadblock for me. Get to that last mission, and just curb stomped me over and over and over again. Anyways, moving on. Be free, my minions. I mean, fellow people who are definitely not minions. Here's a question. Do you think, as of this point in time, Kael'thas is a bad wizard? As Kassan himself put it. Oh god. Oh god. Wasn't ready for that. Whatever. There. And there. Right there instead. Yeah, I tend to agree. One of the reasons so many people were so upset that Kael'thas went psychotic evil was because of all the characters that we were introduced to in Frozen Throne, he was the one least likely to do that, because he was probably one of the most reasonable, you know, decent people amongst them. And Kael'thas was the one they decided would be the best choice to just kind of go, you know, baddie. I include myself in that list. I found it rather unfortunate that of all the characters they decided to do it, that they did Kael'thas with that. Now, that was apparently planned from the beginning, but the problem is if you're paying attention to the storyline, and again, we've talked about BC screwing up everything. Whoop, yep, cutscene.
My brethren are assembled, Bosch. Now all we need to do is reach this portal of yours.
Hold, good prince. We'll need to keep the portal open long enough to usher everyone through. But Garithos' forces will likely attack it before we can make our escape.
Then I will hold him at bay. I'll buy you all the time you'll need.
And now for a tower defense map. Exactly, Kay. If you're upset about spoilers in a Lorerun, you're in the wrong place. I'm feeling better than I did yesterday, Bowman, although I wish the pain would go away, but whatever. No,
Quickly,
Yachevin.
my brethren. Take your positions. Garithos' forces will be here any moment.
We have reached the portal, Kale. Now we'll attempt to open it.
Prince Kale, the other engineers and I helped to build Dalaran's original defenses. We could salvage materials from these ruins and construct whatever defensive towers you need.
Glad to hear it. You'd best get moving.
Hello, Garithos.
Blasted elves. I knew they'd try something like this. Forget about those damn towers. I want that portal destroyed. Those traitors aren't going anywhere. Use these explosives on the portal. Whoever destroys the portal will be a hero.
We've done it. The portal is open. Let the exodus begin.
Well done, Bosch. If we build more strategic towers, we should be able to hold off Garithos' forces long enough for our people to get through.
You'd better be right. If the portal falls, none of us will survive.
So yes, they put a tower defense map in Frozen Throne. Alright. You can only build on the grass sections, and they're always going to follow this path. You know, pretty standard fare, all things considered. We'll go ahead and keep going the pattern here. And yes, they can be upgraded. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and upgrade here. Now, what the hell was I saying? There's a couple of mindsets. Well, okay, let's get back to Kael'thas, okay? Kael'thas going bat crazy, right? The biggest problem, I think, with it is whether it made sense or not, the way they did it or not. The problem is the execution of it in Burning Crusade was subpar at best. Because the way it worked was, I want you to try and picture this, okay? Alright, we're at Outland. Lord Kael'thas has given us this neuro so we can reattach ourselves to the light. Fantastic! And now we have reached Outland, and Lord Kael'thas is experimenting with new forms of magic. Fantastic! And he's killed a whole bunch of Dalaran mages. Okay, it's not fantastic, but it is understandable. Alright. Wait a minute. All of a sudden he's working for the demons. And that basically is exactly how it goes. It really is just, okay, and by the way, he's evil. Just out of absolutely nowhere. And that's the biggest problem a lot of people, myself included, had with it. Was it really was just out of nowhere. By the way! Wait, what? Yeah, I'm evil! Huh? Yep. Alright, I should be using these guys too. One thing I still find funny to this day, wow, failing on the second wave. I haven't been good at tower defense maps since the malls. I'm not kidding. For some reason I've always had trouble with tower defense maps ever since the malls. I was really good at them then I just lost whatever I was good at it with. I don't know why. Anyways, the golems who defend Silvermoon and whatnot actually have a thing where they'll say, you know, Kael'thas, bzz, error, Lorthamar will defend us. And there's a thing you can get during the arena thing where you can learn how to change your golem and remove all references to Kael'thas from it, you know, stuff like that. Upgrade. Upgrade. Right about there. Holy moly, yeah, I'm gonna fail. Wow, I just suck today. There is, I don't remember how or where. Is it over here? No. But yeah, there's a Pendarn in this mission. I genuinely don't remember where he's at or anything like that. Whatever. I don't know what to tell you guys. I just suck. Sorry. You, come here. Yes, flying units. The bane of all tower defense maps. Yeah, I'm about halfway through a big chunk. I don't actually know if there's a detriment for losing this mission, to be honest with you. As weird as that probably sounds. Wait, I can't... Oh, great! Well, yeah, these are getting through. Well, whatever. Next wave. Yeah. Shut up. Shut up. Don't care. Do I have other frickin'... No, they're still working on cold, flame, and death towers. Whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and set up a second nexus right here. Oh, hey, now we have flame towers. Where's a good spot for flame? Right here. Well then. Yeah, I think you're right, Andre. I think I'm about to lose. Amusing. Now, a fun fact, and I'm not just saying this because of what's happening now, I kind of lost my taste for tower defense maps. I don't really have a good reason why. It basically has to do with the fact that I just stopped finding them to be fun. I don't really know how better to put that. Oh, whoops. I think probably if I actually had to put a number on it, it's because of the fact that tower defense maps, tower defense in general, just became such a prolific thing, you know? I know you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, oversaturation, exactly, it did. Just all of a sudden they were everywhere. Constantly, nothing but tower defense maps. In every game and everything, it was just tower defense. And yeah, somewhere along the line that just gets old, you know? At least to me. Maybe I'm weird. It's okay, guys. You can tell me. Am I weird? Alright, let's go ahead and start setting up a long-term spot here, shall we? Oh, excuse me. Oh, whoops. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh god, don't even get me started about the tower defense in Assassin's Creed. That was such a vestigial and unnecessary feature. Flame towers. Which aren't, or still aren't enough, but whatever. Why are you taking damage, Vosh? Oh well, get down here. Come on. There we go. And a frickin' air round. Wait, those aren't... No, yeah, those are on the air. Can these attack air? I don't actually know. Yes, they can. Thank God. Sorry I'm not saying much. I'm actually kind of paying attention because of how much I was failing. And I would like to not fail. I know, weird, right? Let's go ahead and set up an air section. I really need to have done that already, really. One more. Where am I at on Cold Tower? Yeah, still working on it. All humans must die. It is the law. Well, okay, you can make fun of me. It's okay. I accept. Great. This is going to be a crap rave. I can tell you that right now. Oh, never mind. Fortunately, looks like we're okay. And by okay, I mean we might survive this one. Can I build gold towers yet? No. Whatever. Like I said, I really need to get my air defense going here. Oh, well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Orcs Must Die is another example of a game that I wish I enjoyed more, and I just didn't. And I really can't put a number on why. Yeah, those two are getting through. Whatever. Damn it, Akalaka. By the way, hi, Akalaka. Don't think I was ignoring you. I would never ignore you. Land and resources? Why would we need those? Don't be silly. Monkeys would never kill monkeys, who would never kill monkeys, over pieces of the ground. No, Big Chunk, but I'm aware of the song. A friend of mine used to play it on repeat a lot, so it kind of got burned into my brain. The hell? Oh, they have evasion. Oh, that's just great. I'm not sure if I'll take that as a compliment or a detriment, Big Chunk. I got a few of them with that. Good lord. Still falling behind. Okay. I need to set up a line here. Let's go ahead and work on this one. Tool music is tool music. There is no other descriptor. Seriously, that kind of is how it is. Damn it, Coco. Would you stop making fun of me? I'm doing my best. I'm actually paying attention. For once. Fortunately, unlike some tower defenses, upgrades are pretty much instantaneous. Which is actually kind of nice, because in some tower defenses, upgrades take absolutely forever, and that's actually one of the challenges, is you have to get your upgrades in a period where you're not going to lose, because your towers are all upgrading at the time. That's not going to be all of them. Ah. Yeah, I didn't think so. I also think the heroes are kind of vestigial in this level. I mean, they're a nice backup, sorta, not really plan, but they almost have no reason to be here. Fortunately, my air defenses are doing just fine. Yay! Air defenses. They're everywhere, and they're awesome. That's actually their theme song. Can I build the damn Chaos Tower yet? No. Or Death Tower, or whatever. Yeah, Cold Tower is pretty awesome. You'll notice I'm doing a lot better now that I have the Cold Tower at my disposal. Cold Tower does a lot more damage. Well, okay, it doesn't. But it slows, and it attacks pretty damn fast, relatively speaking, so... Woo! Cold Tower for the win! And you'll notice, yeah, and yes, I did this on purpose. Now these guys can attack them there, so they get an extra shot. In fact, speaking of which, I actually think I'm going to go ahead and set up... Yeah, I think I'll wait on that. I think I'll... Which is dangerous, because I'm already in a dangerous position here. All things considered. Let's go... We're halfway there, guys. Halfway there. Here. I sometimes wonder what's actually attacking those guys. Halfway there and halfway dead. I call that a win-win scenario. I'm a glass full kind of guy. Finally, the Death Tower. Now that I have no money to use on it, because I've been trying to set up my defenses everywhere else. Also costs 250. Ouch. I haven't even fully upgraded down here yet. Oh well, you, up here. I like how Garithos is sending ogres and trolls and stuff after us. On the one hand, part of me wants to go, hey, but the other hand, I was like, oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Well, big chunk, because I'm going to. But first I want to finish upgrading, so I can survive until I could get that point. Ah. Hey, Snow. Word up. Yeah, exactly, Raskor. Like I said, I would make an issue of it, but the more I think about it, the more it makes perfect sense. Where's my 2 guy? No, where's my 3 guy? There you are. Maybe I want you, actually. Up here. Oh god, they send people who know invul now. That's just mean. Well, anyways. Let's go ahead and start Operation Death Tower. I knew it, Big Chunk. You're secretly hideously evil. God damn, how long does that invuln last? He's probably gonna get through there. Whatever. Whatever. Yep, he got through. Called it. And of course, now I'm gonna suck because all these guys are gonna get through because all my towers were attacking the damn paladin. This is gonna hurt. Oof. 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 Yeah, nothing. Whatever. Oof. 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 As they say. Speaking of flying units. Now, Death Towers actually have a slow attack, so they only work if you've got a whole bunch of them. So, herp. Release the experiments? What? Whatever. Anyways. You know, Agamemnon, there's really nothing I can do about that. Other than get more viewers, which, you know, I'm kind of trying my best already on that one. No, up here. Whatever. Now I want... Well, Agamemnon, what's happening now is you're seeing me fail at a tower defense map. I might be able to pull this off, but I'm predicting a loss here. To be completely blunt about it. Angry and exuberant? That makes absolutely no sense. I'll give you a sneak preview, Big Chunk. I lose! Damn it, Andre. There's no good modern games. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Although I'll have to be honest, there's basically haven't been any modern games I've really felt like streaming. None I could think of off the top of my head. At least not what I would call modern. You got it. My Little Pony. That's what I'm going to start watching from now on. I mean, streaming. You get my point. God, no. Why would I play Dota 2? Unless I want to just hurt myself. Because, see, once I started doing something like that, I'd have to keep doing it forever. That's the trick. I couldn't, like, be like, I'm playing Dota 2. Okay, now that I've got all these extra viewers, now to start playing good games. I'm sorry, I don't mean it like that, but you get my point. Games I actually want to play. And then, you know, everyone would be like, Path of Exile. Why would I play Path of Exile? God, you guys and your crazy ideas. Yes, Arch is very boring. Terraria is not a modern game, and I have played Minecraft on the stream. Whoops, I let 2 go through, because I wasn't paying attention. Well. Whatever. Well, Coco, I could play Assassin's Creed. Yeah, they certainly have quite an army, don't they, Yachiman? My goodness. Look at this. And their army has 1 billion health each unit. It's like, wow, guys. How are you losing against the Scourge? Something. You don't want to know what this mission's like on hard. Speaking of which, I'm about to lose. Yay! No, I think I'm actually going to live through this one. Just barely. Next, if I let anything through at this point, it's over. God damn it. Sorry for the pauses. Someone keeps messaging me, so I have to Alt-Tab to go respond, which involves pausing the game. Michael Bean in the good game of this year. Zing. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I know there's the 1 or 2 people in the world who actually liked that game. Agamemnon, what's actually happening is we're defending the portal to Outland that Kel'Thuzad opened back in Reign of Chaos in order to exodus the Blood Elf forces to Outland. And so we're just kind of... there we go. Trying to defend the portal long enough while Garethos sends approximately the entire armed forces of the entire human nation against us. A rough approximation, but seriously, look at this. Good God. I require more death towers. I already said I'm probably doing a New Vegas run for fairly obvious reasons, really. Oh, hello. Gold. Of course modded. Why would you ever play a Bethesda game that is not modded? That is literally crazy talk. Of course, I can just hear some of you give me the answer to that, and that answer is because you're playing it on a console. Anyways. Yeah, right about here, I think. Holy God, those guys have a lot of health. Or something. Oh, never mind. Looks like they just hadn't been focused yet. Yes, it will, Coco. I own all of New Vegas. Oh my God, these guys have health. I may actually be about to die. This actually may be it. Holy crap. Whatever. I lose. Oh wow, we actually got him like right at the end there. Oh, never mind, they went through. One guy got through. Holy freaking crap. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna set up a whole bunch of death towers right here at the end. Yes, this is how Kael'thas went insane. He was like, my God, Garethos is sending all these creatures just to kill me and my men. What the hell is wrong with him? The corner of shame. 7% life left, guys. 4 more years. 4 more years. Yeah, no, this is the right. This is right. More death towers. Seriously, just raw death towers at this point. Of course, that's not actually what I want to do. But whatever. Yeah, Garethos is obviously secretly an orc. Not an orc. An orc. And Garethos, the reason he's actually so desperate to kill us is he needs more red paint. Get the coins. There we go. The only way to defeat the Lich King. Send everything. Or, as, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. What is his name? He played Dracula. And Harry Potter's uncle. Oh, it's gonna bother me. He was also, Commissioner Gordon in, the recent Batmans. What the hell is his name? Gary Oldman. He's one of my favorite actors. As Gary Oldman would say, everyone! That's how you beat me. Oh God, I chose to upgrade at a bad moment. Finish them! Finish them! Quick! Quick! I don't feel like losing. Ugh, die! Quickly! Die! And back off. That was purely a tactical error on my fault. I am willing to admit that. I should not have, I should not have chosen that exact moment to upgrade. I probably could have actually taken that legitimately. Whoops! Yeah. That, that was me cheating. Freely and admittedly. And you're welcome, Tophius. I hope you're enjoying it, because if you aren't, well, that sucks, and I'd prefer you did. I mean, duh, right? Now he's sending frickin' Sasquatches after me. Really, Garethos? You went out and found the mythical creature just to send him against me. Really? This man, I swear, he's determined. Five waves left. I can do this, guys. Maybe. Maybe I can't. Oh god, it's the big air wave. Now, fortunately, unlike in some tower defenses, these guys don't actually completely ignore the pathing. Some air waves, they just go straight down like this. And those kind of tower defenses are just brutal and insane, and this is probably going to be where I actually die. Yes, this is probably it. Upgrade now, not later. Right now. Come on, come on. We might make this, maybe. We've got 2 lines of death towers ready to go. See, the problem is the death tower attacks so slowly, so anything with evasion at all just completely ruins the effectiveness of it. Oh my god, okay, okay. We might make this. I should be preparing for the next wave instead of gritting my teeth and hoping that I make it through this wave. Where are you at? You go up here. Did I do it? Did we make it? We made it. Okay, we made it. Alright. More death towers! Actually, we are going to set up some death towers right here. So they can attack up there, because they have enough reach. Hey, Keon. Magic Immune! God, I hate Magic Immune. Marquise, all of the games I have given away have been donated to me by viewers. So, thanks, excessive amounts, for everyone who has donated. Because you guys are awesome. Upgrade now, upgrade now, upgrade right now! Hurry! This is almost the last wave! Speaking of which, we need to get ready for the last wave. Oh dear God, come on, come on! Ah, death towers aren't... This isn't it. No, no. I've lost. I can tell you right now. We are now fully cheating because I don't feel like losing. Oh well. 3 waves. God damn. I suck. 3 waves from the end and I failed. I'm sorry, guys. Ugh. Had a really bad intro, that's for certain. See, that's the interesting thing about tower defenses in general, in my experience. Now we're just gonna have fun watching them all die in this one spot. Anyways, if you notice, if you tend to reach a point in time at which you're falling behind, you basically might as well restart the map, because once you start falling behind, you can never actually recover enough in order to get back in front of the general level of progression of where you should be with regards to your gold income, your tower upgrades, and an amount, and which wave you're on. You know what I mean? I'm sure several of you know what I mean. By the way, I love how these turtles are actually carrying the explosives in their right paws like that. You see that? Garethos' elite guard. Sea turtles. Now, if these turtles were ninjas, we'd be in trouble. But it's okay. So anyways. Yeah, I'm just leaving it on. I lost. I can admit that. If I weren't streaming, I'd start the mission over and try better next time, but I really don't feel like wasting the time, especially since I gotta go in 3-ish hours. There's no way in hell I'm gonna be... I might finish the human campaign in time. Exploitable race and WoW. Turtles. Are they ninja turtles? telling you guys. You know, one of these days they're actually going to make Murlocs playable to some extent or another. And I don't know how the community is going to handle that fact. Hey, Case, no. And the last wave, yep, that's right. Pandarans are the last wave. Blizzard knew. Blizzard knew. Anyways, sorry. Seriously, this is the last wave. Pandarans. Led by, Jinto Reedwine. Something that I think amuses me about tower defenses, too, is how ludicrously unrealistic they are. I know, we're talking about a game, and realism doesn't really build in. I guess the better word would be unbelievable. Try to picture, you know, charging in against a fortification with a line of defenses like this. Hang on, we're not actually done yet. There we go. And just kind of being like, yeah, we're good. Taphius, I recommend Enhancement for solo play. That's just my personal recommendation. However, Elemental is certainly fun in its own right. But Enhancement has a smoother leveling curve, IMO. And Elemental doesn't really get fun until you get some of the fun spells later on. Die, Pandarans. Hey, let's hear them die. And thus, the Pandaran race died.
I bring pandemonium!
Yes, that is a very, very, very early draft of Chen Stormstout and Lee. I suddenly can't say her name. The niece. Anyways.
Hail, everyone is through. Fall back and we'll close the portal behind us.
All right, men, pull back. Back to the portal.
Yes, men who are manning the 700 towers I had.
Now, young prince, we take one final step towards destiny.
Am I the only one who thinks Garithos should be happy about this? Because now, the elves are gone. He got his wish. The elves are away from his homeland and are no longer part of the Alliance. Congrats, man! You did it! You had to kill 7,000 you know what, hang on. You had to kill 596 of your own men in order to make it happen, but by God. Damn it, Andre. Would you stop bugging me about the sound? I swear to God. Because the problem, Andre, is in order to do that, I literally have to change it every time there's a cutscene or not, you know? I have to be like, over and over and over, and that's why I stopped doing that. It's a lot easier to hit Control-S. So, welcome to the completely incorrect map of Outland. You'll notice Hellfire Peninsula, which is immediately next to Shadowmoon Valley for some reason. Yeah, just don't think about it.
What is this desolate place, Vash?
This shattered world is called Outland, young prince. It is all that remains of Draenor, the former homeland of the Orcish horde.
Amazing. I remember when Khadgar led the Alliance expedition here years ago. He almost succeeded in wiping the orcs out for good. In an attempt to escape, Ner'zhul opened a number of massive dimensional gateways. But all they succeeded in doing was tearing the planet apart.
Yes. And now, amongst the ruins of this dead world, we have come to find the Master.
Illidan. Why here? What could possibly interest him in this barren wasteland?
That I do not know. Regardless, we should seek him out quickly.
Agreed. Actually, I'm anxious to meet him again. If he can cure my people of their hunger for magic, I will gladly pledge myself to his service.
Now, I want to talk for just a moment about the whole magical addiction thing. I mentioned earlier the obvious question. Is it actually fatal to be addicted to magic? You know, literally fatal, as opposed to culturally fatal, which I think most of us would agree is probably culturally fatal. But let's just get back to that. The real question I think that comes to mind here, and the one that needs to be addressed, is is Kael'thas in the right to be so desperate to seek a cure for his magical addiction? I think that's really the question that needs to be answered here. Kael'thas is basically going under assumptions as far as their addiction, and trying to seek out certain methods by which to deal with that addiction, or to cure, as he said himself, that addiction. It is also worth noting that we also don't know if there is a cure for the addiction. And again, even to this day, we still don't know if there is actually a cure for it. Because one of the things that, before it ever got to that point, we restored the Sunwell. Their source of magical drip feed was fixed. And so they're still addicted just as much as they were before. The only difference is now they have the Sunwell again, so they don't actually feel the detrimental effects of that addiction. Is that addiction actually curable? We don't know. A lot of people say no, and by a lot of people I mean a lot of characters in game, but most of those characters are people who haven't actually tried to cure it, at least not in any long-term sense of the word. We also see several NPCs throughout World of Warcraft who actually have quests and other things related to curing the plague, curing the addiction, but in general these are people who are just trying little things, people who you wouldn't really expect to succeed, you know what I mean? So it's an interesting question in my mind, because, and this is relevant, that addiction, that hunger for magic, drives pretty much 100% of Kael'thas's character arc, really, when it comes down to it. The loss of his people was certainly a heavy, horrible thing, and that's why they're called Blood Elves. It's not the magic thing, it's because so many of them died. But the reason he accepts so much of what he does here, and what he ends up doing in the course of the next several missions, and in WoW itself, is because of that addiction, and his attempts to deal with that. And yes, he did eventually go completely psycho-crazy because his end goal was to consume the Sunwell in order to summon Illidan, kill Jaden, which isn't really beneficial to his people. But up until that point, up until he went just psycho-crazy, everything he was doing was for his people because of the magic addiction.
This place is unnerving. We've marched for 3 days and seen no signs of life. Still, I can't shake the feeling that we're not alone out here.
We aren't. I caught the scent just as the wind shifted. Night elves. What could they be doing here?
The warden, Maiev, swore to capture Illidan at any cost. She must have brought her warriors here to hunt him. There! Illidan lies chained in that cage. The Night Elves must be taking him to their stronghold.
Then we must rescue him before they reach safety.
Filthy humans. Filthy Night Elves.
Name your poison. Filthy
Pandarans. So yeah, this is not quite a Dota, or a MOBA, excuse me. This is more like a, what do they call this? Tug-of-war. This is a Tug-of-war map. But once again, we see another map that isn't, your typical map. Oh yeah, and by the way, the reason I have the Pandaran is because I actually forgot about this. If I had remembered, I probably would have gone ahead and lost the last mission. I get the Pandaran on this mission because I succeeded at the previous one by cheating, which, doesn't really count. In fact, you know what? We're not going to do that. Pandaran dude, I'm sorry. I didn't actually earn you. Here, you go back here. So anyways, but yeah, this is actually a really fun mission. Again, it's pseudo-MOBA because the two sides will constantly assist and send their own people, and you're basically just controlling the heroes. But the point is to control the cage, which are actually, we need to completely bypass the battle here and go fix that problem. Oh, Maiev's going to say something here in a second.
Indolinoth, both enough.
Or maybe she won't. There it is.
Naga. Your bastard races are an affront to everything the Night Elves stand for.
Okay. Very good. Bad? Where the hell's my side? Seriously. I have yeah, whatever. Die then, Vosh. Oh, fine. I'll mount a shield. I hate using mount a shield. So someone asked a question, I don't remember who it was at this point in time, which was basically, why did Illidan come to Outland? And the reason is actually, because... And this is funny, because this actually makes no sense when you think about it for a moment. Illidan was trying to escape Kil'jaeden. So naturally, rather than staying in Azeroth, a place where Kil'jaeden needs massive amounts of power in order to even manifest himself, he decided to go ahead and go to the one place that was so already torn and so had already had the presence of demons that, you know, you get where I'm going with this. Hello. What's up? And no, I'm not playing a special edition. This is just Frozen Throne as is. God damn, where the hell's my side? Outworld. Who knows about Mortal Kombat? Give me a break. Taffia says good morning. To you. How did the preparations go,
yes,
my dear?
I am wearing an apron. No, this is just a dress.
I love you.
It has pockets. The whole outfit.
No, you're right, Raskar. There's several reasons why. It just amuses me because, in my estimation, again, armchair generaling, which is what Kay does all the time.
Who are you transporting?
That's Illidan.
You finally got him in a box.
Well, no, she got him in a box, and now I need to get him back. Gotta get him back. Gotta catch him all. Gotta catch him all. There we go. Okay, now that we've got him going in the right direction. Now we back up a bit. Illidan wanted to escape Kil'jaeden for two big reasons. Reason one, he had failed Kil'jaeden because he had failed to kill the Lich King, the first Lich King. Second reason, because he lol, Marquis. The second reason is because he also technically betrayed Kil'jaeden by assisting Kil'jaeden's enemies, you know, the Night Elves. And Kil'jaeden is also hideously evil, so, you know, there's that too. And as we've established, Illidan is not. So, yeah. For various reasons, Illidan was just trying to evade Kil'jaeden. Now, the problem here, and there's actually a lot of theories as to why this happened too, but the long and the short of this is, Illidan tries to basically hole himself up in Outland and take control of it, become the dominant lord of it, blah 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 blah, so that, and most of his reasoning for doing so is so that he can, in fact, be safe, you know, forevermore from the, from Kil'jaeden, from the Legion, right? Whether or not that is a valid strategy is debatable, but one thing that has to be kept in mind with regards to that is that may or may not sound very familiar to anybody who has is aware of what's been going on with Sylvanas lately. Sylvanas has been pushing and pushing and pushing her. Hang on. Has been pushing and pushing and pushing to have her. Oh my God, that hurts. And she's dead. Her new scourge, you know, the Forsaken, taking over everything. Because she's so afraid of dying, because of the fact that she's on limited time, you know? See you around, Marquis. And I know those two situations are not completely analogous, but if you do think about it, there's quite a bit of similarities between the two situations. By the way, this is how I usually play this mission on normal. Just kind of keep the front line way over here. Now, we're already starting to crumble a little bit here. The heroes can only do so much, especially since I'm mostly just trying to level at this point. And yes, by the way, the Pandarans have been around since before that stupid movie that I actually don't like. I just like to put that out there. I don't like Kung Fu Panda. I never did. I admit that's probably part of why I get annoyed when people compare Pandarans and Pandaria to it, but whatever. As for why Sylvanas joined the Horde, I would love to say that there's a good lore reason for it, but there isn't. It was pretty much the same reason the Night Elves joined the Alliance. They needed someone to be on the other side. Now, after the fact, they have come up with a few reasons, you know, since it has already happened, why it is that they were a part of that. But when they really were, when they very first were making World of Warcraft, the reason was because, you know, they needed someone else to balance out the sides. I want that. Now, like I said, they've kind of done that. They've done better than that since then. But shrug, as they say. Alright, now we need to start pushing back because we're about to be crushed here. There was actually a lot of talk when WoW was going live, or when they were first really pushing for it, to make a third faction. It didn't happen pretty much completely because of time and money reasons, you know, your usual excuse. However, like I said, no, I don't think... I know Illidan was never intended to be, not always intended to be the villain of BC. Oh, stretch. I'm still half dead, Spirit. So, anyways, now it is worth noting, like I said, that there are plenty of lore reasons since then as to why it is that the Forsaken are with the Horde, and all of them make sense. So props there. But no, Yachiman, I didn't earn it. I didn't earn it. I am not that kind of person. I'm just not. Anyways, so, where the hell was I? I don't even remember. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Phoenix. We may have to pull all the way back to our tower defenses in order to push back, because they've got quite a force going here, and I can't do anything against those dryads, but I can do anything against you guys. Start focus firing a little bit here. No. Okay, it's give us pandemonium. You gotta say it right. Fun fact, her Mana Shield ability was originally well, actually, some of you probably know this because mages had it for a while. But in its original form, which is the 2 damage per point of mana form, it was a thing for mages. It was considered so overpowered they had to undo it. If that sounds familiar, that's because that's the same thing that happened with invisibility. Yes, mages started with invisibility back in WoW beta. Some people may not remember that. I'm not the one who called it the dark side of the hunter. So, now here's an interesting question for you guys. If, yeah, something like that, Taphius. Also, and I've got a very, very, very blunt and very basic reason why I don't like cheating. And I've told you this before, but it really comes down to, I just don't enjoy it that much. I will do it in certain circumstances when the situations allow it, but that doesn't mean I like doing it, you know what I mean? I still feel, even though my logical side of my brain says, you know, I'm just cheating because I've already won and I'm just speeding this up or whatever, because I did that this campaign, for example. Part of me is just thinking, you know, I feel like I feel dirty almost. Dirty's not a good word for it. I don't know. I don't have a good way to explain it. Leave me alone. I just don't like doing it. I don't enjoy it. Yeah, there you go, Taphius. That's a good way to put it. So, we do know that the Forsaken were going to be in the 3rd faction, and the Blood Elves, which were actually intended to be out at Vanilla, were also going to be in the 3rd faction. One thing I would have loved to see is the Draenei also be a part of the 3rd faction. And if you question that, do keep in mind that the Blood Elves are not evil. Even originally, they were not evil. Misguided, certainly, a bit confused, having issues, and being betrayed by their leader, but not evil. Would have been fascinating to have the Draenei, the Forsaken, and the Blood Elves as part of a faction. However, there is one problem with that. Everyone would have joined that faction as a result of that. Okay, let's get up here. Come on. There we go. God, guys. Yeah, by the way, for those of you who are not aware of the joke there, Spirit actually gifted me Ride to Hell and said I should stream it. I said no. Which is actually the first time I've ever denied a stream donation request. Literally the first time. I've even agreed to stream, you know, DLC quest and stuff like that. But he actually gave me Ride to Hell and said, you should stream this! To which my response was, no! But yeah, Taffius, that is the problem. And the realist in me, the developer in me, whatever you want to call that, does have to acknowledge that somewhere along the line you have to draw the line. Just because it would be awesome doesn't mean it would work, you know? It's unfortunate, but it's true. Alright, we're going to push this army until this wave is dead, and then we're going to back up again. Actually, we're going to go ahead and back up again. And we're going to go recoup now. Come on. Come on. Come on. I'm Yes, Undead Elvis, the Undercity was going to be the third capital. Because originally, Silvermoon was going to be so wrecked and ruined from the events of Frozen Throne that it was basically uninhabitable. It was still going to be present in the zone, but it was going to be basically just this undead ruin. Appropriate if you think about it. And the Draenei were actually originally going to land up there rather than way over here on Kalimdor. So... interesting stuff. It always fascinates me learning about what could have been or might have been or almost was, you know? I still remember the days when mages had invis. In case you're wondering why they got rid of mages' invis, it's very simple. Invis used to work awesomely. That's why, in a nutshell. You see, it used to be, you're a mage, and you have invis, so you turn on invis. It doesn't last 8 seconds or whatever. It lasts, I think it was a grand total of 30 seconds, but a fairly decent period of time. And then you just sit there in invis in a bush waiting. And then, you know, someone who happens to be PvP flagged wanders by, and, oh, hey! And oftentimes you could literally kill someone before they figured out where it was coming from, because at that particular point in time, you didn't have the auto-target mechanism. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in WoW, if you are targeted by someone who is an enemy, or you know they hit you or whatever, if you have nothing targeted, you automatically target them. Things like that are basically why you now have that function as a thing of WoW, is because there were too many times in PvP where you know you'd be just standing there and someone would start attacking you and you have no idea how or why or what or where or when or how or who. You get the point. So Outland. One thing I do like that they did in BC. In all honesty, yeah, I know they're about to start pushing back. We need to pull back here a little bit more. One thing I did like that they did in BC, a great deal actually, is they went ahead. Whoops, come on. They went ahead and varied up the zones. It would have been very easy to have all of Outland look like this, basically, like Hellfire Peninsula, but instead they had a great deal of significant variance between the zones. Terrakar, Zangarmarsh, you know, Blade's Edge. Shadow, all of the zones really did have a genuinely unique feel to them, and I like that. And I think that was a good move, personally. And they even made most of those make sense. Nagrand being the big one. The one place where they had started to re-terraform the land. So, just thought I'd comment on that, because I know some people were actually upset about that, because people like to complain about everything. We want everything to be Hellfire Peninsula. Now, don't mistake me. I like Hellfire Peninsula. In fact, it's probably my favorite zone to quest in. But, the British are coming. But I still like that they varied stuff up significantly. Hey, Hinjo. Why don't you, like, go away or something? No, Big Chunk, I did not. I lost on Wave 3. And that's why I now have an Eridar working for me. Now, another fun fact. Now, this is one of those things that, while I think that they did a decent job retconning it, I don't think it was really necessary to actually retcon, and I do actually think, you know, they probably should have left it the way it was. Originally, the Eridar and the Draenei were completely separate. This is a Draenei, and that's an Eridar. Draenei, Eridar. you get the point. And they originally had the Kuranai, I believe, here, and stuff like that. And there was this whole other thing. I'm not going to completely bore you with it, but I am going to kill my Ev, because I need to. So let's kill my Ev here really quick. This shouldn't take too long. Alright, my Ev's dead. And now we're going to go ahead and make our stand. Right about there. And get the tornado going. Tornado is now doomed. And by doomed, I mean they're doomed. Up here, please. Yes, you can actually control the tornado, for anybody who didn't actually know that. It goes very slowly, but it is very effective. You want to talk about CC? I don't think I did, Spirit, no. I failed you, I'm sorry. And we win.
Lady Vash, your rescue was most timely. The thought of spending another 10,000 years in Maev's prison was not a pleasant one.
We could not forsake you, Lord Illidan, but you owe your freedom to them.
Who are they, Vash? The young elf looks familiar, but...
They call themselves the Blood Elves, my lord. They are the last mortal descendants of the Highborn, who served you long ago. This is Prince Kael'thas. He and his brethren have come to bask in your wisdom and pledge themselves to your will.
Kind of spin doctoring it there, don't you think? I mean, Kael has his own reasons for joining Illidan, but I don't think basking in your wisdom and binding themselves to your will is really part of that. Anyways.
You were right to come to me, Kael. I share the pain of your addiction. Your hunger for magic.
Can you help us, Lord Illidan? Can you cure us?
There is no cure, young one. But there are ways to feed the hunger. Follow me, and I will grant your people more magic than they can imagine.
So be it. Lord Illidan, my fellow Blood Elves and I humbly pledge ourselves to your service.
Then arise, young Kael. You shall be my right hand, and the harbinger of my wrath.
What of your plans, Master?
Many months after the Legion's defeat at the Battle of Mount Hyjal, I was visited by one of the last great demon lords, Kil'jaeden.
Illidan, in the past you have been both friend and foe to the Burning Legion. But by consuming the Skull of Gul'dan, you sealed our defeat in this world. I come to offer you a second chance to serve us.
What would you have me do, Great One?
My creation, the Lich King, has betrayed me. He dared to break the pact that binds him to my will. But his spirit still lies trapped inside the frozen throne of Icecrown. Destroy it for me, and I will grant you your heart's desire.
It shall be done, Great One. It shall be done. At Dalaran, I attempted to use the Eye of Sargeras to melt away the polar ice caps surrounding the Icecrown Glacier. If the spell had succeeded, the Lich King would have been vanquished forever.
But the cursed Night Elves intervened.
And the spell went awry. Given my failure, I fled to this desolate place to evade Kil'jaeden's wrath. Now, if I am to remain here in exile, we will need to ensure that Kil'jaeden's agents have been cleansed from the land.
Yes, we've talked about it being Quentin Flynn several times, Vedjok. First of all, I agree that Kael'thas ending up serving Illidan was done a little bit too quickly, understandably, admittedly. If we remember, he went from, we will never be that desperate, to willingly binding himself to what he, for all intents and purposes, thinks of as a demon at this point. But it is also worth noting that whether or not he ever had true loyalty to Illidan is actually debatable. And on top of that, it's also worth noting that while there are several Blood Elves who did have genuine loyalty to Illidan, as we see throughout World of Warcraft, there are quite a few who didn't, and indeed, as Undead Elvis pointed out, a huge amount of the Blood Elves who stayed here on Outland, there's actually a proper term for that, I actually don't remember what it is off the top of my head, are the ones who actually went ahead and agreed with this whole demonic thing, whereas there are plenty of Blood Elves back home on Azeroth who are not okay with this. And those are the ones you play as, by the way. There's a reason why you can even as a Blood Elf, you end up killing other Blood Elves. Anyways, Nether Hunter, I don't know. It would be interesting and very cool. I wanted to talk about one other thing before I kept going. Oh, why doesn't Kil'jaeden kill the Lich King himself? First of all, as mentioned, Kil'jaeden is one of the beings of power who cannot manifest in Azeroth without significant aid. Indeed, it took the Sunwell to start manifesting him here, and then we kind of interrupted that and screwed that up. So, it would take significant power for him to manifest here. That's the first problem. The second problem is that's not really Kil'jaeden's style. Kil'jaeden doesn't really do much himself, if you've ever paid attention to all of his actions throughout all across Warcraft. He showed up and started manipulating Ner'zhul and the orcs, but he did that so that he would, so he would be working through them again. He didn't really, I mean, yes, he's the one who started the manipulation, but again, he was the one who started, he was just doing his usual thing, working through agents. He's the one who built the Lich King, and started using him, etc., etc. Yeah, exactly, Adamemnon. Kil'jaeden is the manipulator, the chess master, the guy behind the scenes. He doesn't really do much himself. In fact, he basically does nothing himself. Archimonde is the guy who's on the front lines. Archimonde is the guy, destroy, so.
Long ago, after Draenor's explosion, a brutal pit lord named Magtheridin rallied the surviving orcs and took control of Outland. Since then, his forces have grown strong.
How, Master? If most of the orcs were killed when this world exploded, how has he bolstered his ranks?
By using the very portals that tore the planet apart. Many of Ner'zhul's dimensional gates still stand, young prince. Magtheridin lures scores of hapless demons through them daily.
Then we must seal them. Permanently.
Yes. We will seek out each of the gates, and I will close them myself. Once they have been sealed, we will move against Magtheridin's Black Citadel, and claim Outland as our own.
Now, I'm going to make a confession to you guys, okay? I have something of what I like to call the conquering bug. It's something that I don't really know how to describe properly, except for how I just did. The desire to conquer. Yeah, god dang it. Right. Now, obviously, that's not a real-life thing. It's a fantasy thing. It's something in entertainment. And yes, I do know enough to delineate between the two. No, Undead Elvis. The Goblins and the Worgen were both added on significantly after. Blood Elves, Draenei, and Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King were all supposed to be at release, as indeed was the Necromancer and the original version of the Death Knight. No, of course not, Big Chunk. But actually, what I was trying to describe was that in several of the Frozen Throne campaigns, the overall goal of that campaign is best described as conquering. And I think that's one of the reasons why I tend to enjoy these two campaigns in Frozen Throne so much. In the human, that is to say, the Blood Elf campaign, you are conquering Outland, taking down the Black Temple, or Black Citadel as it's called here, and crushing, your foes and conquering Outland. In half of the Undead campaign, you are conquering Lorerun as Sylvanas and founding what will eventually be called the Forsaken. Again, just kind of a interesting little thing there. I don't know if I'm the only one who ever felt that way, but I always felt like that was something that I really enjoyed about the Frozen Throne campaigns in particular. Meanwhile, everyone out there's like, he's crazy! No! Okay, let's get moving. Hey, I can make Murgles now. Yay! Murgles. Murgles. Murgle. See? Murgle. Awesome music. Undead Elvis? I've actually already answered that question. However, I would personally add Naga, definitely, and possibly Nerubians if I had absolute power to do so. Okay, I'm getting completely overwhelmed here. Holy moly. I was not paying attention. Back up, back up. How much time do I have? 14 seconds? Oh my god. I'm not gonna make this. Did my skill just go out of the window? I mean, holy crap. Okay. So anyways, moving along. I don't see them adding Nerubians either, even though they are literally my top pick for a new race. Like, seriously, absolute top end. Ogres will probably be added somewhere along the line. I don't know when, but, you know, somewhere. And, probably, I think Naga are actually fairly likely to be added somewhere along the lines. Don't know when exactly, but, you know, whenever. I know, Juan Cab. People keep asking me the questions. I know some of you who watch my whole stream probably think I get really repetitious. I do apologize. For obvious reasons, I don't feel like just saying each time, I've already answered that, leave me alone. Although occasionally I do say that, but that's when I'm genuinely tired of it, which is, you know, the rare circumstances. Anyways, the point being, you know, I do apologize for how much I repeat myself. Hope you guys can forgive me. And if you can't, then God have mercy. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. So, these other portals, right? The other dimensional gates that Ner'zhul opened. One of the original things that they were going to actually do back in Burning Crusade, and they never actually got around to this, was they were going to really start entering into other worlds or other dimensions, and just all the possibilities that were opened, no pun intended, by adding these gates all over the place. Now that actually went nowhere. But I've had several people ask me, why is it they couldn't just do that right off the bat? Why is it that they didn't just, you know, open the gates and start going? The reason is very simple, and ironically already dealt with. It's what we're doing right now. Because we're going out of our way to close these gates, it would take someone of significant power to reopen them. And that is certainly possible, but that would also mean someone with significant power who also has the motivation to do so, which at the moment we don't really have any. What time is it? It's already 1. So, and of course the real world version, or I'm sorry, the real life version as to why that hasn't happened is because time and money. Same reason nothing ever happens, I swear. There we go. Alright. We need to start getting some... I thought we already went back an hour. Yeah, we already went back an hour. I think. I guess I could check that. Yep, we already went back an hour. Because that clock over there isn't updated by anything. It's actually the only clock I have that isn't auto-updated by something. And so that's how I keep track of whether or not the time's changed or not. So anyways, yeah. We are now 1 hour previous. That probably explains why I had such a weird time this morning. Of course, it also probably has something to do with the fact that I feel like death, and I've got this horrible, horrible pain in my back. But that's probably unrelated. Okay, so I need to get rid of this Phoenix. We'll get rid of him in a moment. I need 3? Yes, 3 guys. We'll go ahead and make them archers. The Gron? That would be interesting. Cool, too. Go, my Phoenix. Scout out for me. And we're already upgrading. See you around, Taphius. Have fun in the rankings, by which I mean good luck. You're gonna need it. Ah, yes. Orcs. Fell orcs, specifically.
Magtheridon's forces have besieged that Draenei village. If we drive them back, the Draenei will join us in our fight.
Our forces are under attack.
I thought I already answered you, Big Chunk. I apologize. I am in Eastern Standard Time. It is currently 12:44. If that helps. Hey, Omni. What up? So you want to hear something weird, Omni? Because you, of all people, will probably appreciate this. Some of you guys may or may not understand what I mean when I say there's, in my mentality, there's something different between a mood and an urge, okay? As far as gaming goes, right? A mood is when you're in the mood for a type of game. When, you know, for example, right now, my mood is very much in the mood for Pokemon games. As weird as that probably sounds, you know, it's just been a thing lately, and so I've really been enjoying playing Pokemon games. That's a mood usually lasts a while, not forever, just, you know, a long-term thing. A urge is a lot more temporary. It's like, well, you know, you just kind of really feel like blah right now. Whoops! Hello, we're being attacked by a dragon. Urge is something that's, like I said, is best defined as much more temporary, and is basically, you know, I really want to play this particular game, usually a specific game, not a type of game, right now. Last night, after the worst of the pain and the vomiting finally stopped, I had the absolute weirdest urge out of absolutely nowhere to play Final Fantasy IX. Specifically, that one game. And I was just like, yes, FF9. Wait, what? And I was so confused by that, because I couldn't even explain why or how. It was just, I really felt in the mood. I'm sorry, I really felt the urge to make this properly. Right as of that moment, to play FF9. It was weird. I just thought you might be amused by that. I need one of you guys to give me gold. Thank you. We'll go ahead and set up a couple more towers. We can afford a couple. Oh, I'm sure, Coco. That's why I'm bringing it up to you guys. I'm sure you guys understand and know what I'm talking about. So, let's talk about ogres for a second, and playable races, okay? Let's genuinely talk about this, if you guys don't mind. I know I talk about Nerubians and Naga and all this stuff, but from a realistic perspective, any new playable race has to have at least 3 things that come to it, okay? Number 1, it has to be aesthetically pleasing, alright? Now, they've got the new model mesh system in place now. They used it with Garrosh's final form, they used it with the Pandarans, they've used it with a lot of the new models they've added to the game, so that's in place, and I know a lot of people would argue because of the whole Kung Fu Panda thing, but the simple fact of the matter is the Pandarans were aesthetically pleasing to a fairly large amount of people, so woo on that, right? Second thing is whatever is added needs to add something lore-wise to the game. Again, I know some of you are immediately going to bring up Pandarans, and I'm going to smack you down because you're wrong. Second thing, so any new race they add, it has to bring something to the lore, not just, you know, not just a thing like that. It has to be something that's actually significant on a long-term basis. The Draenei, the Blood Elves, the Goblins, the Worgen, and the Pandarans have all had at least some significant impact on and become a part of the culture, history, society, etc. of World of Warcraft, okay? I didn't say no ugly, Raskor. Have you looked at a goblin lately? The third requirement is it has to add something interesting gameplay-wise. Now, gameplay-wise is a lot harder to define, but basically it has to be balanced from an MMO perspective is what I'm trying to say. In other words, it has to be something that you can give them decent racials, that they have a certain amount of classes that make them interesting, and they have to either be available to both sides, or they have to be, you have to add one to one and then the other to the other, right? These are the basic requirements. What? No, the orcs have attacked. No. No, the orcs. The orcs. I disagree, Raskar. I think the goblins are absolutely hideous. It's part of what I like about them, though. They are truly ugly looking, and it's awesome. It's a very goblin thing. Hello, sis. What's up?
Here's your lunch.
Thank you. 'Nom nom 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 nom. Thank you. That was delicious. I have nowhere to put this.
You will have spaghetti momentarily.
Okay. Now I gotta waste a Kleenex just because of you. Sigh. There. Anyways, so of these things, I do think ogres are some of the most logical things to be added. All things considered. I think ogres fit all of the above categorizations. However, there is one problem with ogres, and that is the fact that ogres, you really could not justify ogres being anything but horde only, at least in my opinion. Having the ogres join the Alliance really would stretch belief in too many ways. You could probably make a case for it, make it make sense in some way, but when you're getting down to it, it's something you'd have to technically in. And as I like to say, if you're technically-ing something in, you're wrong. So, ogres for horde, okay? I'm with that. What then do we add for the Alliance? Now, I keep banging on about Nerubians, but let's be blunt. The Nerubians are not going to become playable. Too many people aren't interested in the idea. It would be a bit of a stretch for the development team. It would be a lot of work and effort, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to happen. Naga. Now, that's an interesting concept. Have the Naga join the Alliance. Naga, I think you can make an equal case for them being either one or the other. Pretty much equally. Now, dragons, that's an interesting concept, but here's the problem with dragons. Dragons would only work now, post-Cataclysm, because of all the events that happened in Cataclysm, because of the removal of the dragon, their divinity, basically, the removal of their titanic powers. So yeah, okay, I could see dragons, but we have to solve several problems, because what the dragons would be is either one of two things. They would either be like the Worgen, where they have a human form and then their real form, or they would just always be walking around in their real form, and we can't actually make them full-on dragons. We can't. It's not functional. It's not possible. Thank you, sis. Whoa, God! It's a little warm. So that leaves our options somewhat limited. Do we make them whelps? Certainly there would be some appeal to people who actually wants to play whelps, but that would be in the minority, I guarantee you. Oh god, we're gonna cheat. Because I was being distracted by my sister. And that's my reason. I still don't like it. But whatever. Where was I? Okay, so we could try Dragonkin. That's actually been something that's been tossed around a lot. For those of you who don't know, Dragonkin are something in World of Warcraft. They're also in Warcraft 3, actually. It's the guys who are basically centaur dragons. They've got the upper body and, arms here, and then their lower body is two sets of legs, excuse me. So, Dragonkin are something that are a possibility, but if we're considering Dragonkin as a possibility, we have to consider Naga equally, and, believe it or not, Nerubians equally, because all three of those have the same fundamental problem. Time and money expense as far as developing them, setting the meshes up with them. Yeah, exactly, Raskor. It's the exact same problem with the Nerubians and the Naga. So, all three of those I do think are possible, but are nevertheless unlikely. So that leaves us with what for the Alliance? Now, we have several other smaller races that could be considered, but the problem is there's just not enough demand for the desire to play a kobold or a gnoll, which are, I think, the primary races there. And, of course, there are also the furbolgs, the murlocs, all that fun stuff. I don't think they would do murlocs because too many people... You think people make fun of Pandarans. You have no idea how much people would make fun of murlocs as a playable race. Even if they made sense. Even if they put the effort into it. I'm not actually sure how they would do it. I'm really not. I'd have to really think about it. But even if they somehow made it make sense and made it work to have murlocs be playable, then the bottom line is that people would still just look at it as a joke, because murlocs have been a joke ever since WoW came out. Not since Warcraft 3. Murlocs were actually just another one of the sub-races. It wasn't until WoW that they really became a joke. But they're a joke now, and we get to live with that now. It's just kind of how it is. I unfortunately have, Kay. I really genuinely mean it when I say I don't like that movie. So, you may ask, why is this mission hard? These are all fell orcs. In other words, they all do chaos damage. If I haven't said it a billion times, chaos damage bad. Fire bad. Welcome back, Adid. Now remember, you need to put off work and listen to me. It's much more important. Now, Ariati, they have said that, but A, you have to take anything they say with a grain of salt, because they've said many things and gone back on them in the past. And B, just because one particular developer or one particular group of developers has said A, B, or C does not actually make it true. I know that sounds like cheating, but it really is. It is the truth. The WoW team is huge, several hundred people all working on this game. Just because 2 or 5 or 10 of them say something does not mean it's going to be true for the entire game. It's just duh, in my opinion. That's one of the problems EverQuest, Asheron's Call, and Ultima Online all used to have, was some of the developers would say A, B, or C, and then it would immediately be contradicted, because, you know, I don't know how to pronounce contradicted. It would immediately be contradicted, and, you know, people would be like, what the hell? And it's like, well, you know, they were misinformed, and blah, 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 blah. So, moving on. Yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. There is that other problem, and I hate to say that because I tend to be more in favor of the Blizzard team than I am, say, the BioWare team. But it is true. You have to always take anything the developer says with a grain of salt. When you see provable results, that's when you have provable results. It's really what it comes down to. Ah, damn it! Really? Frickin' hell! The other thing that sucks about this mission is you almost have to have a mobile force defending because they're all chaos damage. Which is great against buildings, as is being demonstrated right now. I'll go ahead and rebuild that one. Why not? Nah, who needs militia? Good news is we've won over here. Awesome music. Awesome music. I'm off key. No, Javan, you're hearing things again. Seriously, I don't know where you got that from. Now, Undead Elvis, you're also correct. The Blue Dragonflight has basically joined the Alliance at this point. However, let us not forget that the Blue Dragonflight is not exactly a coherent force, not in any real sense of the word. Actually, yeah, okay. I mean, the Blue Dragonflight kinda took it in the pants, during Wrath, basically, actually, but also during Cataclysm. Nope. God, this hurts. I really am gonna have to take a pain pill just to exist today. Ugh. Anyways, sorry guys. No, okay, call it the Federation. Because, well, I'm not gonna get into that. Let's not talk about Star Trek on our Warcraft stream, shall we? I'm sure like 3 of you would be upset about that. I guess we're actually kind of good at the moment.
I am Akama, Elder Sage of the Draenei. Lord Illidan promised to rid us of our ancient enemies in exchange for our loyalty. These cursed orcs serve Magtheridon, a terrible lord whose black citadel lies to the west. Under his command, the orcs hunted us to the brink of extinction. But now, with Lord Illidan behind us, we will fight back and retake our ancestral lands.
We also serve Illidan, Old One.
Very well, stranger.
I like how he just accepts that. Anyways, yes, that is the Akama. So here's a question on Dead Elvis. If they made ogres and dragons playable, even though we've already established dragons basically aren't happening, not realistically speaking. They're literally less realistic or as realistic as the other races I've proposed. Which would you play? Whoops. Oh my god, really? Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I don't actually have rally. Oh god, I don't have militia. The Blood Elves don't have militia. Oh my god. Oh, I'm about to lose a lot of workers. Whatever. Bye, guys. Exactly, Undead Elvis. Now, I gotta ask, am I the only one who'd be more tempted by the ogre in that case? I probably am. I can accept that, but seriously, ogres! Hell yes! Alright, so. How many did I lose in that? Only one. Oh, not bad. Oh, right, and you need to go back to wood chopping. Well, the type of dragon would almost unquestionably be blue or red. It is very unlikely that bronze would have anything to do with either side. They're far too neutral. And I'm saying that as a good way, by the way. It's kind of a compliment, really. And it is extremely unlikely that it would be black, because Raytheon isn't old enough to have children yet, so... yeah. And yeah, green is also very, very neutral. Always has been. Alright, let's go kill some succubi. Oh, of course not, Big Chunk. There's actually quite a few ogres who are not stupid, who buck the trend. And I'm not just talking about the two-headed ogres who are augmented. Interesting factoid about the ogres. Those would be Dragonkin, Kursusu. Which, as we've established, if they were going to make dragons playable, it would almost have to be a Dragonkin. Like, almost, logically speaking, it would almost have to be. Anyways, where the hell was I? Oh, right, so. Let's go ahead and recoup here for a bit. Because archers suck, Big Chunk, we all know that. Where the hell was I? I lost my train of thought. Ah, right. Not all. One of the reasons that ogres come across as dumb is because ogres, for whatever reason, have a difficulty with the concept of language, and so they have a difficulty speaking common and speaking orc and all that fun stuff, right? So the long and the short of this is that ogres, while they are obviously portrayed as dumb on many occasions, are you kidding me? They're not as dumb as they seem, is basically what I'm trying to get at. And that's all I have to say on that matter. I actually am screwing up. I meant to have sorceresses, not... Whatever. And I need more farms. Build more farms. Well, there goes... Oh my god. Oh god, this is bad. This is bad. Cheating. That is 3 times now. No, 2. 2 times I've cheated now. I need to be paying more attention to the damn map. Oh my god. Now, ethereals, I cannot possibly just see ethereals actually working personally for either side. So, you know, shrug. I need more frickin' food, that's what I need. You, come here. I need a lot more food. 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, that should be enough. Well, see, the problem, Tophius, is at this point I'm committed. And I mean this sincerely, I'm not trying to just justify my actions. The flat reality is, as of this point, I am committed. I actually don't need one of those. If I'm going to cheat, if I'm not going to cheat, I should say, then I'm going to start the mission over, and I'm on a stream and on a time deadline. The end, you know. I don't like it, but it is very flat and true. Anyways. Kursusu, that is a dragonkin. Like I said, dragonkins are actually in the... You know what? Hang on. Let me just make this clear, because I know some of you don't actually know what the hell I'm talking about, so let me just make this clear. There are 2 types of dragons. There's dragonkin and there's draconids. Excuse me, I actually said that a little bit wrong, so... Let's make sure that you know what I'm talking about. Oh, come on. Where's the picture? Well, anyways, Draconid are the bipedal humanoid ones, and Draconkin are the centaur-looking ones. Now, Dragonin... now I'm screwing up my own pronunciations. Draconid are are mortal beings who have been augmented in order to be, you know, part dragon, basically. Whereas Dragonkin are actually a form of dragons who were originally dragons. Although, there's actually been some debate about that in the lore, because that's not a one-to-one thing, so shrug, I suppose. I suppose we'll know someday what the truth of that is, if they're ever made playable. Oh, for God's sakes, I just left the base! I just left! Stop attacking me! I'm not on hard difficulty! Undead Elvis? No, I don't think he is. Although it is also worth noting that we're not 100% sure that those black dragons are still around and alive. Don't forget, Undead Elvis, that those black dragons were under the command and rulership of Sinistra. Sinistra, who, if you'll remember, came back to, you know, to Azeroth, and we killed her and her brood. So it is very debatable as to whether or not there is actually any black dragons left in Outland, is what I'm trying to get across here. Damn it. And once again, we're too late. Whatever. Whatever. Let's just go. Alright, he's still doing that. I also am going to want that. And, you know what I really want? It's another one of these guys. Actually, I guess I don't need another one. Let's just have you come do it. There we go. Sabian might be around. No archers. This is now a challenge mission. No archers edition. Just for you, Big Chunk. No Archers edition. Let's go and get another tower going here, actually. And by another, I mean 2. How's our farms going? We're probably going to be maxed in a moment. I like how we're... I know this was true in Warcraft 2 as well, but I like how we're harvesting lumber from mushrooms. That's always kind of amused me. Fun fact, that vampiric stuff does not work against buildings, only against units. Which is why I'm having Illidan attack units, because he needs to heal a bit. Alright, back to work. Work. Yeah, too slow. Whatever. Aha! It all makes sense, Big Chunk. Like I said, I wasn't actually making fun of it. It just amuses me. That's all. Whoops. That would be hilarious, Undead Elvis. Also worth noting that we already have an aspect of Earth. His name is Thrall. Yes, really. Okay, get rid of this frickin' building. Now get rid of this frickin' building. No, this one. Now get rid of this one. Considering Thrall's status as the shaman of the world, I'm not sure you could really call it unofficial at this point. Debatable, certainly. I don't feel like commanding you guys anymore. You guys are unworthy of my attention. Back to work. Okay. Yes, I'm kind of letting my heroes die. I just got really tired of managing this stuff. Fell orcs, I swear. So, remember in Reign of Chaos, I was like, you know, this is the hardest mission on hard, this is the hardest mission on this, blah, 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 blah. This particular mission, I think, is actually the hardest mission in all, well, I'm sorry, the second hardest mission in all of Frozen Throne on hard difficulty, for me personally. I'm not sure how many of you out there agree or disagree with me, but no matter how you look at it, this mission was brutal on hard. Fell orcs, lots of them, in all directions, and lots of them attack you fairly regularly. You have a dinky amount of help from the Draenei, who basically are completely not helpful, to put it as bluntly as I can. Even on normal difficulty, they're not helpful. I would have already lost twice, and I mean that sincerely, if I was doing this on hard. And that's why I'm not. 2, 3... Good news is we finally took out green. Yay! Bom, bom, bom. Green is dead. Regroup. Back to town. So okay, we've got 2, and then 1, 2, 3. Now, yes, I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive there's actually another base down here somewhere that we also have to take out in order to get to that damn portal. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering. There's a lot of bases in this mission. Well ended, Elvis. I assume you mean more, because he's already aged unnaturally. But as to whether or not they will continue to age him unnaturally, I don't know. There's plenty of ways to have him age naturally at this point, since he's already, for all intents and purposes, an adult. So I think it would not be out of mind for him to continue to age naturally from this point onwards. More gold. Frickin' dragons. So someone may be asking, why is there red dragons out on Outland? That would be a very good question. Unlike virtually everything, there is no reason for that. That is flat-out continuity error. The end. Sorry. Although it is worth noting that Alexstrasza has not been freed as of this point in time. But yeah, no, there's no red dragons out in Outland at this point in time. There are nether dragons out in Outland at this point in time, and we do see them, and they look completely different than they do in WoW. Hopefully, I'll be able to point them out to you when we get to them, and by hopefully, I mean definitely. Yeah, Javan, that is basically the correct truth. They needed something to be the air unit for the orcs, and considering the orcs have traditionally had dragons up to this point in time, if you'll recall, it seemed logical. I guess we'll go after the other portal, finally, if I can remember how to get there. Oh, there it is. No, Undead Elvis. Virtually nobody had the ability to get to Outland. Most of the orcs you see here were already here, either surviving Maghar or the fell orcs enslaved by Magtheridon. So, yeah. As of this point in time, Outland and Azeroth were pretty well segregate. In fact, there were only 2 portals connecting the two. The portal Kel'Thuzad opened, which we just permanently closed, and the portal that Gul'dan opened, which would require a being of great power to reopen, which is what ended up happening for Burning Crusade. There's a fun thing to talk about. Who opened the Dark Portal? I'm sorry, who reopened the Dark Portal? Well, I know I've said this a billion times tonight. Sorry. But that is yet another example of BC just kind of screwing up. Because what was supposed to happen... Whoops. Oh, they ran out of gold too. Go, my minions. Make another mine. Anyways, what was supposed to happen was that the big Demon Lord, a.k.a. Kil'jaeden, was the one who was actually supposed to reopen the Dark Portal and lead to the invasion of the Burning Legion on Azeroth. Dun, 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 dun. Now, if you've already recognized what's wrong with that statement, congrats! You have a brain. Oh, here we go. Another dragon, right here. This is what they looked like back in Warcraft 3. Am I the only person who thinks that they should have kept looking like that? Because I think that type of a mount would have been absolutely incredibly awesome. But that's just me. So, hang on, Raskor, I was getting to that. So, there's a better example here. This is what the Nether Dragons looked like back in Warcraft 3. And I think that'd be a really cool mount to have, but that's just my opinion. So, that was the original intent. Now, somewhere pretty much right before they did the acclamation event, which is, in case you're not aware, the term acclamation, it's the patch right before an expansion that changes all of the game stuff to what the expansion will be, changes all the abilities, all the stats, all the classes, etc., and basically paves the way by, for all intents and purposes, patching the expansion in, so that when you actually start playing the game, you don't have to actually download or repatch anything, it's just ready to go. It's a good idea and something they do very well. Anyways, so the acclamation patch, you know, they're getting ready for it. They're basically ready to go. They're all set to go, and then someone's like, wait a minute. Kil'jaeden isn't in Outland. Huh? Yeah, Illidan is. Who? Oh yeah, the big demon lord. No, Illidan is a big demon lord. Huh? And there was this big hubbub and kerfuffle about who and what and where and why. The long and the short of it is, what ended up happening is they basically chose one of the only big demon lords they had remaining, and decided to go ahead and have him open the portal, and that's Kazak. For those of you who are not aware, Kazak was actually a fairly large demon lord who was still active on Azeroth. In fact, he was the demon lord, the biggest, the most powerful, and the highest ranked demon lord left in charge on Azeroth. So they ended up having him be the guy who actually reopened the portal from this side, which was very much not the original plan, but did work, don't mistake me. It's just yet another way they screwed up BC. Shake my head. I hope so, and Elvis. I shouldn't say that. I don't wish firement upon anybody. I'm not that horrible of a person. Honest. I swear. Don't look at me that way. Oh, we can't actually afford 2 more. I need to kill some workers. How many do I need to kill? 2 workers. You've been drafted to die. So have you. Come here. You 2 must die for the greater good of the Blood Elf race. I want you guys to just watch these guys die. There we go. Alright. We're good now, guys. Yeah, I guess I don't really have to give any orders out here. Although, actually, I do want a Phoenix out for this. Oh, back. Hey, it was for the greater good, Zizoa. All according to plan. But anyways, now here is an interesting question for you. Given everything we know about how much BC went wrong, how likely do you think it is that they will retcon the events of BC? Or do you think that, as they have done so up until date, they will stick with BC as being continuity and just trying to work around it? Now, I mentioned that... Oh, God. I mentioned that because they have tried to just work around it to date. You know, they've just been like, oh, yeah, it totally happened. Totally was real. Oh, God, why did we ever do this? Why? But do you think they will ever actually fix it? And say, okay, no, here. Donkey, in summary, they got Illidan wrong, they got Kael'thas wrong, they got Vashj wrong, and they got Kil'jaeden wrong. In summary. Come here, surviving worker. You need to do the work of the other 2 guys I just killed. we go. Onwards. And yeah, I imagine they will try to continue to work around it. Honestly. I was just curious if you guys, what you guys thought about that. I actually, the more I think about the whole Lords of Draenor thing, the less I think that has anything to do with World of Warcraft. I could end up being wrong, but in my personal estimation, that's not the kind of name you give to a WoW expansion. That's something you would give to something else. So, I don't think that's our next expansion. One way or another, though, we'll find out in about 6 days now. I guarantee you it's going to be one of the first things they announce. Maybe not the first thing, but definitely one of the first things, you know? Whoop, we've got some people who are out of work. I could kill you guys, but I wouldn't do that. There's no limit to the possibilities of what it is, Raskor. It could be another RPG. It could be a revival of the customizable card game. It could be an expansion pack that they're adding to Hearthstone, since Hearthstone's pretty much in full swing already. You know, there's all sorts of possibilities there, but like I said, I just cannot picture that being a WoW thing. It doesn't sound like a WoW thing. The way it's been pushed forward doesn't actually make sense with how they've always pushed forward. Oh god, that's a lot of red dragons. That's a lot of red dragons. I'm about to die. No. Just whatever. Frickin' red dragons. I hate this. I hate purple. I mean, I love the color, but I hate purple. Whatever, die with honor. I mean, really. Die with honor, guys! Where are you? Are you at least anywhere near? Yes, you could eat him. Why'd you finish taking that out? In World of Warcraft, funnily enough, we do actually have a saying. It's called, well, it depends on which guild you're talking about, but basically it comes down to wipe fast. Get it over with, we've lost, wipe fast so we can start over quickly again. Because, and it's actually a very strange thing, because I know there's actually a lot of arguments and debate about when the wipe fast point should be. But bottom line is, I personally think that if we've reached the wipe fast point, it's when we've reached the point where there's nothing else we can actually learn by continuing to try the encounter. And at this point in time, all we're doing is wasting time. We are no longer learning anything, we're no longer practicing anything, we're just eating up time that we could be using to actually make a real attempt. So, wipe fast, let's get it over with. You know, blah 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 blah. Man, I hate dragons. Where's their dragon roost? I have no idea where their dragon roost is, but I'm irritated by their existence. Whatever, just keep killing buildings. Kill the buildings, eat the people, kill the buildings. Kill the buildings, eat the people, kill the buildings, kill them all. Like I said, Raskor, there's a lot of debate I've heard about that. Legitimate debate, no less. And I admit that it is something that deserves to be debated, something that you don't just say. Anybody who says wipe fast is not automatically correct. Even the raid leader saying that is not automatically correct, and I say that as a raid leader. Alright, now we've officially wiped. Congratulations. We're awesome, guys. We're the best. Please tell me I have a heroes thing. Yes, I do. Wonderful, wonderful. 3. No archers. Still no archers. Although, actually, there's one thing I could get going here. And I probably should have done already, I just didn't think I'd need it. Because I forgot how brutal purple is. Yeah, that's happened too, Raskor. Sometimes because someone's stubborn, sometimes because a lot of dots are up and one guy's trying to die, sometimes because the boss takes forever to kill you. Depends. Yeah, why not? Alright, I guess that's it. I guess I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for stuff to finish building now. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Undead Elvis, I'd say those chances are extremely high. After all, we've only encountered the populace of 2 planets, and fighting a legion who is basically fighting an entire galaxy. So, yeah, it's actually pretty damn likely that we'll encounter someone somewhere along the line who, we haven't yet, who are still fighting them. Or losing to them, as the case may be. Hey, Hyper Phantom. During one of, hang on just a second. Ugh. The diet of a chocobo is Geisalgreens. Yes, I know, there's a lot of different ways people pronounce that word. That's how I pronounce it. If you have a problem with that, there's the door. So, anyways. What the hell was I going to say? There's a short story in which Valen is talking to Anduin, and he shares with him a memory of a species and a planet that was wiped out by the Legion. Good example of that side of thing, basically in a nutshell, and how that could come to be, and how we could come to be, actually. That's basically how he shared it, why he shared it with Anduin, to get across the idea that, you know, we could die, guys. Just saying. Also, hi, My Hope, or Myo Hope. Not actually 100% sure how to say that. Now, based on the way they've been doing things, I don't think any new faction will actually be significant in the sense that, you know, the Horde and the Alliance are. Several reasons. Number one, the Horde and the Alliance have always been the primary focus of the entire Warcraft series. Changing that is something that is unlikely, and honestly, I kind of get the point of why those are the main focus points of the series, and I get it, so I'm not actually going to argue against that. Number two reason is because a lot of the focus lately has been how on the story, if you're really paying attention, especially with the Titan storyline and the Legion storyline, all the background stuff, is that as Azeroth is genuinely unique, Azeroth is pretty much the only world that has so successfully defeated the Legion, not once, but 3 times. Which just really emphasizes the nature of the situation. Hey, welcome back, Fitzcott. Congrats on returning. One of my favorite things about Wrathion, despite the fact that he is actually an interesting character, despite being so obviously evil, is the fact that he mentions all his knowledge about the Legion and what they're already doing, and how, you know, Azeroth is one world, one planet that is resisting against the entire Legion, and they keep trying to emphasize, because they've never actually shown the full breadth and scope of the Legion in the games, because they basically can't. You can't show something that wide and that vast in a video game, right? It's not really feasible, at least not with the technology that was available at the time. And so, yeah, we have this whole, you know, god dang, frickin' dragons. By the way, yes, the dragons also do chaos damage, just 'cause screw you, basically. Wow, they're still devouring some of my units. Anyways, that's a horrible fate. So they keep emphasizing just how vast and how large and how wide the scope of the Legion is, and how significant the forces arrayed against us are. I don't think it would work to really add another faction of significance, and I gotta stress that word, of significance, when the storyline has been so much about Azeroth and its people. By the way, Black Backburner, I actually agree. It would take absolutely nothing to... It wouldn't even be a retcon, it would just be a, this is how things are, and, you know, now all the settings are in the same galaxy, the same setting, same area. It really would not take much to do that, all things considered. George! Kill their buildings! Oh god, dragons! Yeah, damn it. My mouse is fighting me. Oh god, that's bad! Oh god damn it, and my mouse just fought me again, and I think I just lost Illidan to Bladestorm because of that. Thanks a lot, mouse. And dragons are immune to magic. Of course they are. Okay, we need to... God, I hate dragons! Okay, whatever. Get in there. And take out their base. I'm gonna accomplish something with this, by God. Fitzcott, all I gotta say to that is we don't know how the level and type of... God, the dragon... I didn't even kill a single dragon. We don't know exactly how widespread... You know what? Screw it. Just leave the dragons alone. The Legion is, but it would not be hard to imagine that they are either from another galaxy, say, oh, I don't know, the galaxy that the Xel'Naga abandoned. Maybe that's why the Xel'Naga abandoned that galaxy. Or maybe they're dimensional travelers and therefore maybe in a side dimension or a connected dimension or whatever, but aren't actually directly attached. You know, there's all sorts of possibilities, and that's kind of my point in a nutshell. There's plenty of ways you could fit the three settings in together. It would not be a hard thing to do. God, I hate those dragons. Really, really hate those dragons. We're just going to finish up their base, because without their base, they're worthless. And I'll consider that a win. We didn't kill the dragons. We killed everything but the dragons. Alright, let's get out of here. Flee, my minions. Flee! Seriously. Frickin' dragons. I know, I know. If I really wanted to take them out, I'd need some air units, which I'm not sure I have the ability to build. Do I? Yes, I do. I think I am going to go ahead, just to be vindictive. I'm going to go take out those damn dragons. If that dragon doesn't stop following me... Okay, he's still following me. Got it. Operation Be the Bait. Come on, dragons, keep following me. So anyways, long story short, the Legion are actually the Reapers, but here's the really funny part. Not only are they the Reapers, but the Reapers are in fact the Xel'Naga. There we go. Go, my towers! Kill the dragons, maybe. Maybe. Yay, we killed a dragon. One dragon. Anyways. And yeah, okay, I have to actually agree that the Reapers went from being one of the few things in fiction that I could qualify as that kind of omnipresent, oh my god level of threat, to a complete joke in an extremely short period of time. Almost a pathetically short period of time. Seriously, it's kind of a tragedy, really. Let's not talk about the ending of Lost here, okay? Damn it, Undead Elvis. What is with you and Varian, I swear? I'm just messing with you. Ha! There. Right. This is the main campaign, Caesaris. So I suppose against the AI would be the answer. A mini-sized chocobo? Of course it is. Haven't you ever seen FF13? If your answer is no, or I've desperately tried to forget FF13, then that is also an acceptable answer. Goodbye, Murgle. You served me well.
From the murky depths I come.
The flows of magic are whimsical today.
Hardest fight in Dragon Age, without question, was the woman you're not actually supposed to be able to kill. I can't think of her name. She was the second-hand woman of Tyr Logain. I can't actually think of her damn name. But that was, in my opinion, the hardest fight in all of Dragon Age. It was pretty brutal. No, not Flemeth. Flemeth was not that hard. She didn't actually move. And, the actual Ancient Dragon was certainly challenging, but, and I can't believe I'm saying this, too controllable to really be considered that difficult. No, I would not, Kay. Sorry. I don't know the name of any of the Warcraft 3 songs. I have failed you. Are you? Yeah, okay. Okay, that doesn't count, Javan. You didn't say hard modes. You just said hardest fight. There's a difference. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this damn portal finally. If I can remember where to get to it. I really don't remember. Oh, here it is. Found it. Sarkothrian. The twittiest twit of all. Seriously, screw that woman. It's okay, though. She's dead now. In continuity. Because I killed her. But yeah, I personally think that was the hardest fight. That was just insane and brutal. And obviously a supposed to lose fight, or a, you know, this, you're not supposed to fight this fight. However you want to think of that. Whoop, hello. Hey look, more succubi. Die, succubi. You don't belong in this world. Kinda literally. Alright, Red Dragon. Let's see if 4 Dragonhawks can kill you. Probably not. Oh well, just go and die then. Yeah, by the way, for those of you who have not actually done a one-man run of Dragon Age, it's not actually that hard once you get to a certain point. Once you get to the point where you have a decent amount of class choice and customization and leveling, all that fun stuff, you can go ahead and make it work, and it works. I know that sounds weird, but my point is, after a certain point, you're good. Getting to that point is actually pretty brutal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just do a one-man run sometime. You'll understand very quickly. Oh my god, we killed the dragon, guys. Revenge has been had. Now kill that guy. Kill the helpless orcs. All orcs and humans and gnomes must die. Man, that silence is just brutal, isn't it? And by the way, Raskor, I do agree that I'm glad they actually at least made it possible to win, rather than, yes, I am Spirit, rather than just making it, you know, hey, guess what? You can't win this fight, no matter how you try. By the way, I just realized it. I was talking earlier, someone asked me a question about your most irritating example of artificial difficulty. I mentioned Mass Effect 3 because the higher difficulties don't really tool the AI much at all. All they do is crank the HP and the DPS of the enemies up, which is pretty much one of the most boring and fundamentally dull ways to do artificial difficulty that there is, in my opinion. However, Mass Effect 3 committed another sin. When you're fighting Kai Ling, I don't know about you guys, but I was kicking the crap out of him. I was kicking the crap out of him so quickly that he literally would not have a chance to attack in some cases. He'd get up and be like, yeah, I'm ready! And then immediately do his, oh, by the way, I'm actually invulnerable, and I'm going to regain health while this chopper is attacking. It was so obviously cheap and so completely artificial, it completely destroyed any possibility of actually giving a damn about that fight at all. And yes, I'm talking about in the Asari Temple. And yet, Holy Smite, for a brief period of time, I was doing that as well. The way it ended up working was, you know, that I would be out DPSing him, and then it would not let me proceed until I had actually let him regen his frickin' shield. That is pretty much artificial difficulty by definition, right there. I cannot possibly put it any more succinctly than that. Making an invincible enemy who cannot be killed. And mind you, at that point, I already hated the character a lot. And I was just disgusted by him, and so they finally let me fight him. And my first reaction to the fight was basically, hell yeah! Because I was beating the crap out of him. And you could probably imagine then why I hated it so much, because it went from hell yeah to, oh, within the space of like 20 seconds, as I started to realize what was going on. It's like, oh, I'm not actually winning. I'm just, you know, completely ruined it. I play Soldier K. Zaydenra has always been a soldier. And she always will be. But that's also, there we go. Good lord, we took some losses there. But that was true in 1 and 2 as well. The games that actually exist and matter. Why are you still alive? Go away. Yeah, the whole loss of Thessia thing was completely poorly done. Let me make this clear. Doing a situation where you lose a major world after multiple successes for dramatic impact makes sense. Making that world something that is important to one of your primary characters makes sense. The way they executed that idea was so piss poor, and that's my biggest problem with it. And that's all I'm going to say in a nutshell. It was just completely pathetically done. I could not possibly have cared less. You literally cheated to rip victory away from me. And even then, it shouldn't have happened, because if you're going to do something like that, you have it feel like, you know, you're actually losing the whole way through, or like you've got this situation or mindset of, oh, we're barely holding on. None of that was true in Thessia. I was destroying them in Thessia, and my first response was, yes, we're going to reclaim Thessia, and this is going to be great, because the whole mood and mindset and the dialogue and everything of all of Thessia was that. Immediately chopping the legs out from under you, it doesn't work unless you have some thematic backing to that, and they had none, and that's the problem with Thessia. In a nutshell. Just poorly executed drivel. 3. But whatever. Half-Life Opposing Force. Yay! I actually know what that is. I'm retarded. Wait, I guess I'm not retarded, but I'm a geek. Here we go. Oh yeah, and then there's the aftermath. Now, my character was actually romantically involved with Liara, so I pictured, you know, some really big, deep, dramatic, emotional scene, because, you know, I actually have a brain. And I was figuring, you know, this would be a major point in her character, and she would understand, you know, the full significance of war, and this would be when they'd really emphasize, no! We lost! No, we lost! Damn. That was... God, it was so paltry. And you know what? If I was going to use a word unkindly to describe the entire Thessia thing, that word would be fanfic. Now I know. We've talked at length on this stream about why that's an unfair generalization and why there's nothing necessarily wrong with having a fanfic and blah 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 blah. But my point is, everything that is bad about a fanfic was present in that thing. It was it was rushed, it was hastily done, it was poorly executed, there was no actual impact, there was no deep characterization. I swear even the writers the voice actors didn't even care. They were like, yeah, okay, I'll just sleepwalk through these lines. At least that's how it felt to me. Like I said, nothing against fanfics, really. But okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and start using a new term: bad fanfics. Okay, so that whole scene reeked of bad fanfics. There we go. Good way to put that. No. Probably the only thing I didn't like about Javik is they went way too far out of their way, in my opinion, to make him unlikable early on. I get why they were doing that. It was to emphasize that we, as a people, knew nothing about the ancestors, the ancients, the Proteans, etc., because, well, that's kind of true. That's what would happen. We would have no idea, based on barely any information at all, what the old ones would be like, right? Okay, I'm with that. But it feels like they just went way overboard with it, trying to make him as unlikable as possible, and then slowly drift away through that over the course of the game. Of course there are foul spies. There's this book called The Robot War. Welcome back, Tophius. How was the torment? Don't answer that. You haven't answered one question, Tophius. Why is it that you keep doing League of Legends ladder based on the circumstances? Oh yeah, bass is not a fish. I heard that's okay too. Not really most people's cup of tea, but that's okay. Not everyone has to like that sort of thing. Welcome back, Fitzcott. Again. That makes no sense, Tophius. What is shiny in League of Legends? Seriously. Ah, okay, that makes more sense. Man, there's a lot of demons here. My goodness. So I guess Big Chunk, you were right. I did end up going ahead and wiping out the map. I didn't really mean to. We the Wax. This is the second or third to last level of the Blood Elf campaign. Okay, we won. Oh, stretch. Ultra stretch. That's a good question, Demonium. Maybe they want the diamond badge. Hmm? See, Tophius, there's a legitimate reason. I could go with that. If I actually had people I played LoL with, I might do the same. I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you. Whoop, whoop. Cutscene.
We've done it, Master. The dimensional gates are all sealed. There's no way for Magtheridin to call reinforcements now.
True, but his standing forces are still considerable. Assaulting his black citadel will not be easy, Kale.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Metal Gear. Sorry.
enemies draw near, Lord Magtheridon. These upstarts are tiresome gnats, nothing more. The might of Magtheridon cannot be denied. I am the Lord of Outland. Those who dispute my rule will soon regret their folly.
Magtheridon has grown strong over the years, but he has had few real foes to contend with. He has become decadent and complacent. The boisterous cur cannot match our cunning or our will.
This will be a glorious battle, Master. Though Magtheridon's forces vastly outnumber ours, your warriors are prepared to fight to the end.
I am pleased by your people's zeal, young Gale. Their spirits and powers have been honed in this harsh wilderness. Their courage alone may be enough to...
Lord Illidan, new arrivals come to greet you.
We Draenei have fought the orcs and their demon masters for generations. Now at last, we will end their curse forever. We are yours to command, Lord Illidan.
As I promised, your people shall have their vengeance, Akama. By night's end, we will all be drunk with it. Vash, Gale, give the final order to strike. The hour of wrath has come.
So, let's talk about some things here. First of all, I agree. I hate myself for saying this because it feels kind of pleh. But the flat reality of the situation is, this is another pretty hard mission, by the way. Kale just goes way too far south, way too quickly. I get this distinct impression that this campaign was supposed to be longer. Excuse me, if you're paying attention, this is mission 6. This is the last mission. In other words, only 6 missions in the entire campaign. That's not really a lot, when you think about it. And I very much get the impression that this was supposed to be longer, but again, you know, something got in the way, time, money, who knows. Something made it so that this just didn't end up happening the way it was supposed to. Could be just my impression, but seriously. Next thing to talk about. I may be no tactical genius because I'm not really on top of my game and I haven't really been practicing like I should, but I don't know, maybe I just think sending wave after wave of your own men after the enemy's forces is not the best way to secure victory. Maybe that's just me. Third thing. Yes, that was a different voice actor for Magtheridon, which is actually kind of a shame because I really like, is it Cam Clark who does him in World of Warcraft? He's a great voice actor. He's also done stuff in Legacy of Kain series. The Legacy of Kain series. Excuse me. No, I don't want to lose my royals. No. Oh, god damn it. I am not paying any attention here. God, I really am not. You know what? Excuses. I'm just not paying attention. That's the reality of it. I admit my failings. I can't believe I just lost a royal. I can't replace that either. Can I replace anything? I guess. No, I haven't cheated. Not lately. Sigh. Oh, God. Yeah, exactly, Netherhunter. It is literally the Imperial Guard strategy. And that can work in some circumstances, but really? Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Whew. Okay. Alright. You guys recover for a bit. I got some other things to work on. Yeah, the Zap Brannigan. That's what I was referencing specifically, the Zap Brannigan tactic. Not really the key thing. So, the reason this is such a fun mission, and I really don't want to cheat on it, is because you don't actually have a base per se. You just have 3 armies, all pretty segregated from each other. Very difficult to get reinforcements for all 3. And your goal is to win with just these 3 armies, and basically no no reinforcements. It's a lot of fun. By the way, yes, that is in fact the Butcher. And yes, that's Wirt's other leg. The one other leg. Don't worry, though. We haven't seen Wirt's third leg yet. Where's my reinforcements? Yes, I can get some reinforcements. Not a lot. Not a lot. Actually, I think he says, fresh meat when I attack him.
You dare speak to me?
Let's bring him up here. At least I think the coast is clear.
I grow impatient.
Yes, that butcher. Although, as we've discovered from Diablo 3, there are actually multiple butchers. It's like a classification, I guess, something like that.
Are there demons nearby?
Easily.
Oh, he's not going to say it?
You'll regret that.
There it is.
Fresh meat.
And yes, that was actually the exact same voice clip from Diablo. Holy God! Yeah, he hits like a truck, by the way. This guy was actually the prototype for Patchwork. Really, he was. I'm not kidding when I say that. Alright, so... let's go and get Wirt's other leg there. Which, doesn't actually do anything. Perhaps the overzealous adventurer pried this off before his journey here, thinking it might give him one last opportunity at bovine slaughter. Little did he know where it would lead him. So anyways, the joke there is obviously that he used the other leg with the town portal thing, and created a portal from not Tristram, the rogues camp, and it ended up here instead of the secret cow level. I hate to just explain it all out like that, but that's probably one of my favorite little references. And the funniest part about that particular reference is, if you actually bothered to make it continuity, it would fit fairly well if you think about it. Whoop. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum ba-da-da. So, this is why they had to change the Draenei, because the Draenei are completely overpowered. They're like the Dark Templar, except in the StarCraft universe there's 50 billion things that see through stealth. In the Warcraft universe there's like 3. Yeah, Undead Elvis, I thought the Ghostlands were awesome. Most of the BC zones I do enjoy. I keep bashing BC, but the reason why is not the overall production value, quest value. It was a huge improvement over vanilla, don't mistake me. I bash it because they screwed up so much. That's really all. I hate to say that because, you know, it sounds unkind, but it is true. Okay, you just stay there, Vosh. We got some work to do. Onwards to battle! And mail. It's also worth noting, as I've said before, that BC was when a lot of people came back to Bladestorm, Bladestorm, Bladestorm. Yeah, Bladestorm. By the way, yes, that is Rend. Some people have tried to bend over backwards to explain why Rend is here and also in Blackrock Spire, and they've failed. There's no real reason for it. He's just here for some frickin' reason. Don't think about it too much. Yeah, that was a really well-timed Bladestorm on his part. Bravo to him. But as I was trying to say, I need to sneeze. Oh, that hurt. Okay. So, anyways, as I was saying. One of the things that I know a lot of people ask me about semi-frequently is regarding BC and its overall execution, presentation, etc. I don't have enough gold to revive Kael'thas. That's interesting. That Bladestorm really screwed me up. Well, it's okay, because we've got a totally kickin' force over here. Meanwhile, my west force is destroyed. The long and the short of it is Burning Crusade was such a massive improvement over vanilla in literally every way. Storytelling, gameplay, all across the board. There really is no arguing or disagreeing with that point. And that's one of the reasons a lot of people really liked BC and still think of BC so fondly, even though it did mess up in a lot of ways with regards to the lore, etc. Alright, so let's go scouting, shall we? So yeah, I bash it a lot, but honestly, BC was such a huge... was such a huge upgrade for World of Warcraft. A very necessary upgrade for World of Warcraft. Ah, wrong one. Ah! Damn it. Damn it, I've already lost someone too. Oh god. Oh god. Blade Master. Okay, he's level 4. He can't have Bladestorm. Whew. We're safe, guys. Damn it. Ah, die. Okay. Yeah, well, I've said it before, BC really was a very necessary evil, because even if you disagree with what it did with regards to WoW and the improvement of the game, etc., because of BC we got Wrath the way it happened. So, definitely a net positive there. At least in my opinion. And BC was a lot of fun. It was just one of those it was one of those things that you could clearly tell that they screwed up on the production line, that there was mistakes being made, and you know you could almost feel like the two different teams that were working on it. Like if you're going through it, you can see, oh well, this team obviously did this section and this section, whereas this team did this one, and so forth and so on. Well, we only lost 5 guys. Roll my eyes. Oh, take this out. Yes, I do, Undead, especially given how the expansions have been thus far. I know, you hate hearing me say this, but I like Pandaria a lot. I think they made a couple of mistakes with Pandaria, because, you know, that's what happens. People make mistakes. And there's no such thing as a perfect game, as I've said. But overall, I think it was a net positive. And of course, we got Wrath after that, so, you know. Whew. Go, my minions. Oh, turn around, turn around. We're being attacked out of absolutely nowhere. What do you mean, Big Chunk? Or are you talking about the ultra super big secret? Seriously, no, I don't actually know what you're talking about. No, Undead Elvis, as I've said before, as much as I hate Garrosh, I think it was an excellent decision. I think it was something the series really needed. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but, you know, whatever. We are all entitled to our thoughts and opinions on the matter. Big Chunk, there is a great deal of hinting at the fact that I now have Demolishers, so, you know, that might have been it. No, seriously, though, I don't know what you're talking about. Unless you're talking about the Raytheon hint about the Titans, which it could be. Theoretically. Could also be the hint about the Bronze Dragonflight, which we still don't know what that actually means to date. Okay, let's resurrect frickin' Kale, shall we? Yes, I did, Javan. That was immensely satisfying. No, there haven't, Demonian, and I sincerely doubt there will, for, as I've said before, my honest projection date for that is about a decade. That's about how long I think it will take. We don't know, Undead Elvis. We do not know. Now, I do have to say one thing, because I haven't talked about this before. This is a huge spoiler for WoW, but this is a Warcraft lore run, which means all of Warcraft is up for grabs, so screw you! I'm just gonna spoil it, because screw you! No, seriously though. Put simply, given everything we learn about the teasers in the Isle, in the Timeless Isle, and the actual parts of that were related to lore, which were not much, admittedly, but there were some parts about that. It is, and given the whole Lords of Draenor thing, I still don't think that is a World of Warcraft thing. I still don't think that's our next expansion or anything like that. But I would be remiss if I did not point out that the Lords of Draenor would actually be appropriate if we were in fact going to be going back in time or dealing with anything in the past timelines or an alternate timeline, which is what a lot of the spoilery stuff at the end of Pandaria is about. Actually, I guess I could just do that, couldn't I? Now, I don't think that's true, but I do have to admit it is possible. So in the interest of fairness and the interest of full disclosure, it is theoretically possible that that is where we're going with this whole thing. I hope not. And as I said before, I don't actually... Oh god, there's enemies here. I don't actually think so, but it would be possible. That's all I'm saying. No, I don't want to lose my demos. I agree with Raskor, by the way. A well-done time travel story, of which there are not many, is awesome. A poorly done time travel story almost is always worse because of that fact. Just my take on it. Hey look, we can link up our forces. And then immediately unlink. Oh yeah, what's up here? Oh, never mind, I already dealt with that. Undead Elvis, see, the problem is, I get why you're asking me that question, and about the traitor and whatnot. The literal problem is, we only have exactly one piece of evidence as to who that traitor is. And that piece of evidence is immensely circumstantial, and that is the presence of, what's-his-face, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head, being there during the time at which we see Soridormi die. That doesn't necessarily mean he's the traitor. Oh god, are you kidding me? Doesn't necessarily mean he's the traitor, doesn't necessarily mean he has anything to do with the traitor. It just means he was present during the time of it. That's literally all we got. Yeah. So we basically have absolutely nothing to go off of is what I'm trying to get across here. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of hard for me to speculate from absolutely nothing, you know what I mean? Now, that being said, because I don't want to leave you with nothing, there is one possibility as to who the traitor is. And I think it would make a lot of sense. And this hurts a lot. Hang on. Okay. I think it is possible that the traitor is in fact... Dramatic pause for tension! Raytheon. And I mention that because the only thing we have to go to define him as traitor is the fact that the guy we're talking to, whose name I don't remember, it's not Kronos, it's the other one, thinks it is a traitor because he believes the only one who could actually do this sort of thing that this guy's been doing is someone who has access to the timeline. The time waves, you know, the ability to go through time. But let us not forget that one of the things that Raytheon was actually working with towards the end of the Legendary quest chain is the ability to work with the Timeless Isle and to time lock things. Now I know, that's a little circumstantial, but as I've mentioned, I have basically nothing to go off of here. Like, nothing at all. So, based on how little information we have, I think that is probably the most likely theory that I've ever heard. Just my opinion on the matter. Basically no one, Javan. There are certain individuals of tremendous power who can. Actually, I guess there aren't, are there? Never mind. Yeah, basically no one. Sorry. Now, Nether Hunter, it's interesting you point that out, because that was one of the suggestions for a new playable race that I heard when we were talking about, not only when we were talking earlier about dragons, but it's something I've heard regardless. Not just dragons in general, which I've never heard before, but the actual idea of the Bronze Flight itself becoming the next playable race. And Time Lord Victorious. That's actually who I am, guys. I've been meaning to tell you. I'm the Time Lord Victorious. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Oh, thank God. We're finally getting some frickin' money here. Damn it. But yeah, I'm the Time Lord Victorious. Has the 50th anniversary come out yet? I don't actually know. Damn it, Javan. You and your screw this. Bail. Right. Probably Undead Elvis. We don't know if what happened to Nosdormu, and by contrast, Miradon, Mirazon, excuse me, is actually set in stone. We don't actually know. I know that sounds like it's copping out, but that's the reality of it. We don't actually know if that's set in stone or not yet. November 23rd? Okay, we got a while then. Don't have to worry about it for a while. Don't get me wrong. I haven't liked Doctor Who in a while. I'm not a big fan of Matt Smith, and I didn't like most of his most recent stuff. But I am very curious exactly what they're doing with the 50th anniversary, so even though I've kind of dropped Doctor Who, I still have to know what happens, damn it. No, Rondo. See, the Master was crazy. And or a maniacal bastard, depending on who you ask. I'm not... Well, okay, shoot, I am crazy. Damn it! Okay, fine, you got me. I'm secretly the Master. Now that we've got a little bit gold going. Yeah, god damn it, green. The time meddler. That's probably also debatable, Rondo. Alright, let's get in position. You guys get back here. You guys just kind of be over there and be worthless. You guys go regen for a bit before I move on. You guys... There you are. You guys come with me. I actually know who the Celestial Toymaker is. Good story, by the way. Probably one of the better Hartnell stories, in my opinion. No, I don't, Undead Elvis. And frankly, it's kind of funny because people were talking earlier about how much they don't like time travel stories. I gotta be honest, I think that time travel stories work okay in Warcraft as long as they keep it simple. As long as they don't introduce alternate timelines and... basically, as long as they don't untangle the mess is really what it comes down to. And you may be saying, well, how do they do that? To which I could say, oh, well, that's an easy answer. First of all, we get the hell away from those guys. Second of all, the way you do that is the Final Fantasy VIII thing. Yeah, I know, you're going to hate me for even bringing that up. But I mean this sincerely. In order to do that, you have the situation where the timeline is coherent. It solves itself. It is a self-completing paradox, rather than alternate timelines, changing history, all that fun crap. Just make it one cohesive timeline, and anytime they change history, it's actually what already happened, what was already supposed to happen, if you follow what I'm going. That's just my opinion on the matter, I'll admit. But long and the short of it is, I don't think they really need to go too much into alternate timelines. Now, of course, some of you out there are already yelling at me because alternate timelines already have a significant impact on World of Warcraft. There was an entire instance devoted to that, and it was a major feature of how we defeated Deathwing. So I have no argument against that. I really don't. Either that was us changing... Hey, by the way, there's Maim, Rend and Maim. I bet nobody got that back when this game was new. Anyways, there's no real changing that. That's simply too much of a crucial element to the story to really change at this point in time. But the problem I have with it is it trivializes so much, in my opinion. I know, this is just opinion, but I feel like it trivializes so much of what we go through and so much we interact if there's always going to be an out, you know? A way that we could undo it. It's a reset button problem. There we go. I've got a good way to actually vocalize it. I feel like it can be used excessively as a reset button, and I don't like that. The one time it's been used so far, with regards to the end time and Murazond and all that, I was okay with. It wasn't really a reset button. It was, in fact, they made it seem like that was actually the completion of that particular time loop. So overall, I was okay with that. But the further they go with that, the less I'm going to be okay with it, and the less interesting it's going to get. And it's so possible to open up such a huge, untangleable mess of worms if they really get into that kind of thing. And I hope they don't. End ramble. I need to get going soon. I may have to start cheating just to finish this mission in time, much as I really don't want to. I literally have to get going soon. We're almost to the 2 bosses. I didn't say anything against Star Trek. What are you talking about? Star Trek for life. Yeah, I need to cheat. Blah. Whatever. Whatever. I gotta get going, like in 10 minutes here, so... And I still have to get ready. So we're just gonna kind of crush everything here now. Crushing everything. Everything. Crushing everything. Crushing everything. Hey look, it's the Master of Pain. What's up, dude? Go. Arch, oh see, that's interesting, because I saw that question be asked of me somewhere recently, and the bottom line is, there is no difference between the two. It's purely a matter of different naming, different nomenclature. There's no actual difference between a wizard and a mage. None. Zip, zero, zilch. Now, that being said, the prestige of a wizard has nothing really to do with being an archmage. You earn your way towards being an archmage either through significant personal effects. It's kind of like being a Jedi Master. There's no actual thing that makes you a Jedi Master. The people vote on it, and you are then allotted being a Jedi Master. To put it simply. So there's no actual specific thing that suddenly says you are now a Jedi Master, or you are now a, what, you get the point I'm trying to get across here. And if you don't, well then I apologize profusely. What are you doing? Go down here. As for a sorcerer, they don't exist in WoW. Or by which I mean they do, but again, it's a matter of nomenclature. There's no difference or variance whatsoever. Awesome cutscene. Yes and no, Archmagician. For example, you could just claim you are an Archmage now, right? I am now an Archmage. However, if you do that, you are expected to be able to back it up, basically. If you can't back it up, well then you don't really deserve that title now, do you? Alright, we're going to do this super awesome run. We're going to show you guys just how awesome Illidan really is. Illidan kills people by walking next to them. Not actually attacking anything. Anyways, Fitzcott, as for wizards... Oh, hang on, I think we got a cutscene here, maybe.
Is that all?
Yes, that's all.
Evil draws close. Is that all? Dark force.
I like his throne. I'm just kidding. I don't actually like that throne.
I do not know you, stranger, but your power is vast. Are you an agent of the Legion? Have you been sent to test me?
I have come to replace you. You're a relic, Magtheridon. A ghost of a past age. The future is mine. From this moment on, Outland and all of its denizens will bow to me.
Note they don't
Hear me
kill
now,
him,
you
by the way.
trembling mortals. I am your lord and master. Illidan reigns supreme.
Alright, really quick, I just want to point out, he doesn't actually show him killing Magtheridon there. I point that out because it's one of the very few times where they actually had planned ahead and there's no plot hole there. In fact, that was intended to set up how Magtheridon would come into play in Outland. As for the old god that screwed the timelines, no we don't. It's most likely one of the 2 unnamed ones. I'm sorry, the 1, 2, or 3 unnamed ones. We don't actually have a number. But it's very unlikely that it's Unzoth, which is the only surviving one that we actually know who they are. As for Heroes of Might and Magic 3, I don't remember. I played several of the Heroes of Might and Magic game. I get them all confused with each other. I'm looking up 3 really quick here on an image search. No, I did not play 3. Alright. Cutscene.
What is this, Vosh? Where did this storm come from?
Keep your head down, fool. Something terrible is drawing near.
Foolish little mongrel. You failed to destroy the frozen throne as I commanded. And still you thought to hide from me in this forsaken backwater. I thought you to be more cunning, Illidan.
Kil'jaeden, I was merely sent back. I was attempting to bolster my forces. The Lich King will be destroyed. I promise you.
Indeed. Still, these servitors you've gathered show some promise. I will give you one last chance, Illidan. Destroy the frozen throne, or face my eternal wrath.
Perhaps hiding here was not the most prudent decision. Still, the quest lies before us. Will you follow me into the cold heart of death itself?
The Naga are yours to command, Lord Illidan. Where you go, we follow.
The Blood Elves are yours as well, Master. We will drive the Scourge before us and shatter the frozen throne as you command.
Well, we conquered we conquered Outland, and now we have to immediately abandon it and go after me. Or rather, the first of me. So, here's the most awesome picture in all of Frozen Throne. Seriously, I actually did a lot of work with this and actually made a whole custom... You know what, never mind. So, I just want to make something clear. I know this sounds like it technically, but just for the sake of clarification. Eridar is the original term for the species. The Eridar were the original terminology, and those who succumbed to corruption and became fell continued to use the term Eridar. The Draenei renamed themselves either with or in conjunction with Draenor once they found Draenor. But yes, for all intents and purposes, Eridar are fell-infused Draenei, to simplify. So, I gotta get going. I'm sorry, guys. I imagine I will go ahead and finish this up Friday evening, next Friday evening, so make sure I get the rest of you, and then we will see the The Legacy of the Damned. The most awesome of all the campaigns, in my opinion. And the most difficult. So, have a good one, guys.